Off, Nguyen now been sent off. Nguyen committed a couple that added up to 2 yellows and therefore a red. Up to 2 yellows and therefore a red. The last zone could well have been a straight red, Jamie. Could well have been a straight red, Jamie.
It could easily have been, yes.
Oh, that's well done indeed. Oh, that's well done. He's a bit unlucky there. You might feel he's a bit unlucky. Controlled it well under extreme pressure. Controlled it well under extreme pressure. Didn't win a free kick and then lost his discipline and conceded one. Lost his discipline and conceded one.
Let's have a look at that again. He's done well, leaning into his man.
Probably just fell though.
Yep, I think that's okay.
So the direct approach that time taken, and we may see a little bit more of that. We may see a little bit more of one-up really from this Binh Duong side. Again, looking at the relative lack of work rate we've seen from the number 11, from their captain, who's just over on that left-hand side. He's dropped deeper now. Maybe they're a little bit light. Now there's an opportunity down the right-hand side. It needs a good ball in, and it doesn't quite get it. Because Guy Jr. is someone you'd want to really have on the end of one of those rather than delivering it.
Yeah, certainly. It was a very nicely worked position. And interestingly found the gap where the fullback's missing.
Well, the officials might need to come back to a late challenge there. Referee says he spotted it and he's keeping a close eye on the guilty party. But the advantage he's playing though is with PSM Makassar. Only problem is they've got a man down. And as Ali Rambo looks to thump that one away, we do now come back, and there is going to be a caution by the looks of things here, because that was a challenge that has left Taufik on the ground. And it looks as if we're zooming in on Nguyen Tan Long as the potential guilty party. We'll have confirmation of that very shortly. Be interesting to get a replay. It did look, Jamie, as if there was a challenge well after the ball had gone.
Yeah, I think so. And I quite like that from the referee, where he just says, OK, I've seen that. You've got the ball. You've got advantage at the moment. Comes back and yellow card. That's good. Not the first time that Taufik, yeah, look, he's stepped across and into his man. It's, yep, it's a cynical foul.
Cynical foul, and the forearm was raised a bit, so hence the distress of Taufik, but nothing too serious. It looks as if he's up and about and fine once again. Did we see the card shown though?
I think the card was shown. Certainly the referee was reaching for that top pocket. I wait confirmation, but I think there was a card for it.
Well, that's nicely worked. Now Plum, is he going to take on the shot? Cuts back inside and maybe regrets it. Still, the danger's not cleared though, if they can work their way around the outside here. And again, he's been so willing a runner. Nicely done, Zulzamran once again. Will he get across at the end of this one? Well, he needs some help. Taufik supplies it. That should, though, drift out of play. It duly does for a Binh Duong goal kick, but there's no denying at the moment which team is in the ascendancy, and it's PSM Makassar who are asking all the questions, and quite frankly, Binh Duong look as if they're cracking a little bit under pressure.
Well, I should think Kalasic, the coach for PSM, will be delighted at the situation that he finds himself. Half an hour to go. His opponents were a man down. His team were playing okay beforehand anyway. Certainly down this left-hand side, Zulum has posed a few problems.
And here we are again, a little bit of dissent shown. Wanda Louise it was on this occasion. And this is a game that just feels as if it's bubbling a little bit here, waiting to boil over.
Let me at him.
I think when players feel there's an injustice, then they want to take things in their own hand. They start getting upset about everything.
Những diễn biến trên sân thật sự hấp dẫn phải không nào? Và nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang phân vân suy nghĩ rằng khi tham gia fp88vn.com sẽ được gì thì đừng vội lo lắng, bởi fp88vn.com hiện đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên đến 2 triệu đồng dành cho thành viên mới, hợp pháp và an toàn. Hãy truy cập ngay fp88vn.com để nhận được ưu đãi.
Again, Jamie, just coming back to my point about the Binh Duong captain, when Unduk. Now that he's dropped deeper, we're seeing perhaps even less of him in terms of meaningful engagement in the game. At some point or other, surely a coach has to decide that they need a little bit more work rate as they're a man down.
Yes, I think you're certainly right there. I think you need to be bold in these situations. You need to make choices, not just hope things are going to work out.
It's a lovely little run. It's a lovely run that might lead to something. But in the end,
Always by
very
my
nearly did.
side.
It was Win Tan Long who got across and sprawled, making the challenge, hence the appeals for a handball there. But it was a run that went and went and went, and in the end it looked very much as if Nawi, I think it was going to get all the way through. Now, the worry about that, if this was a UEFA competition with VAR, you'd start worrying about that going to an appeal, even though he clearly had no idea the ball was going to strike him on the arm in the dive there, but you'd have worried about a handball. Anyway, on we go. And that's a pass to nowhere from Trong Hui. It's a curious game. You feel that as much as anything it might just be a mistake that leads to a breakthrough and leads to a goal in this one. We've seen plenty of them, but will one happen in a meaningful part of the pitch? That's lovely from Wanda Luiz. He's going to go on his own, is he? Has he got a shot in him here? Well, in the end he took on one too many. And now it's Guy Junior's turn to do it on his own, but he can't break through either. At least something for the crowd to applaud, a smattering of applause, and I think they as much as we, Jamie, hoping that a game breaks out here, something a little bit more cohesive and coherent in terms of both teams' play works. We've just seen fits and starts and sporadic bits of play here.
Yes, game not lived up to its the expectations so far, but we've got nearly half an hour to go. Could be an exciting finish.
That's really easily picked out there by Zul Zamran. No way forward there, though. And a bit like the first half, I've liked it when Zul Zamran's operated on the left-hand side. Of course, they can switch sides. Rizki Sanjaya, the player who has really sort of drifted out of things a little bit. There was a player who caught the eye in the first half, Victor Mansarai, but struggling to get going in this, really. And then he gets an important boot in there just to send it flying back to his goalkeeper. Well beyond the hour mark now, and still nothing really to choose between these two sides, despite the numerical advantage for the visitors. Mansarai rolls it out to his left.
His body language spoke volumes there, didn't it? He was looking up and couldn't see anybody ahead of him doing anything of interest.
Well, here he is again. Does he go again? Well, that's nicely done. Oh, and that's a trip. Is it in the box? Is it in the box? No, says the referee. That's going to bear some inspection, one would imagine, Jamie. There was no denying there was a foul committed. He has indicated really, really right on the edge of that line. Is he right?
I think, given that he's not convinced he's inside the area, that he has to give it just out.
Abdul Rahman, it was with the challenge.
He's just clipped his heel, hasn't he, really?
And the contact occurred outside the box,
just outside, just outside.
Looks as if he's made a big call, which is what he's paid to do. Made a big call there. Otherwise, that was a penalty for Bindwong. As it is, they find themselves in a strong position here, potentially. But we haven't seen a great deal of quality from set pieces in this game so far. There's nothing malicious about that challenge. He just clipped his ankle, didn't he, on the way past.
In the first half, a couple of times, Bindwong managed to get somebody spare on the far post from these free kicks or set pieces generally.
And this is what they'll be looking to do. It's Le Tantai who's got that little bit of whip on it, his delivery. We've seen that already in this game. If he can put something in there, far post is where they may be going. And that's where you find Wanda Luiz. You'd feel probably the most likely route to goal. Here it comes. It's Le Tantai. Whips it in under the crossbar, and it's punched half cleared by Rivki. Long-range effort, not the very best you'll ever see. And an opportunity on the break here. Oh, that's a pullback and another card. Referee reaching for his top pocket straight away there. And you can run away all you like, but I'm afraid that Win Trong-hui is a yellow card. So here comes a change. It's Din Huang Max arriving on the scene here, replacing Trong-hui. Nigerian, in case you're wondering, his name's also Maxwell Irakpo. Been at the club for a couple of seasons now.
Well, he's one of the players who played in that previous game and was rested for tonight. And that's as clear a yellow card as you will ever see in a football match.
And his last involvement in the football match as well. They're substituted and going out with a blaze of inglory there. So change for the opposition as well here. And so we see the number 11. That's Rahmat Shamsuddin arriving on the scene. So we saw another neat little challenge coming in from Le Tan Tai there, who's come into this game a lot more in the last few moments. Well, the first involvement there for Din Huang Max, but in the end it was Mansarai chasing back a little bit too overzealously there. But it goes the way of Bin Duong. So another little passage of play.
I don't think any of the players knew exactly what decision had been given there.
Well, they've made their changes, and let's see if that impacts the game. Still a long way to go in this one. Something like a quarter of the match remaining, but it's not going anywhere at the moment. And there's a player who we haven't seen much on the ball lately, Plume, but it was a neat little tidy bit of play from him. Bit of space on the right-hand side, and a long-range shot. Had the keeper scrambling. Nowhere really near the target. But he switched to the right-hand side now, Azul Zamran, who has been, without a doubt, PSM's player of this half so far. But that was ambitious, really.
It's a long, long way out. Having said that, I don't mind players taking shots from long range. And you're right, Plum's been remarkably quiet in this second half.
Mark Clock there's got to be a little bit careful. He was close in attendance, and oh, that's brilliantly taken by Wanda Luiz. Wonderful stuff. What can he do with the ball now at his feet? Well, he's still got it. It takes a lot of knocking off the ball. And that clearance just about gets the job done for PSM. Play goes on, and it's a funny, scrappy little passage of play too. For a moment there was a one-on-one opportunity. Another player stays down on the ground, and the referee's going to have to bring on the medical staff, as it looks like it's a head injury. Looks like it's Tor Van Vu has gone down. And well, I'll let you decide for yourselves just how much contact there was there. Certainly none on the face,
no,
despite his protestations.
No. There's a hand slightly on his throat, and he clutches his face as if he's been punched. And I'm sad to say, John, that's a feature of the modern game that I really dislike immensely. And it's a shame, because he's a talented footballer. I like To Van Vu. Don't have to like all aspects of his play, though, obviously.
No, what it's done, though, as well, is it's just broken up the game again, unfortunately. We've said that so many times. in this match. Just little scrappy, niggly incidents, forcing the referee to blow his whistle to bring play to a halt. And as a result, we haven't really had that much flow to this game. Now Evans then just doing the simple thing, putting the ball out. 20 minutes remain at the moment on the evidence of what we've seen. Scrappy half chances at best. Nothing really too clear-cut. And this player coming more and more into things for Binthuong under Louise has been outstanding really in the few moments when they've managed to get forward without creating anything. That was an excellent physical battle there. Guy Jr. has won it. He's got away from Rabo there, and he puts a decent ball in. Plum couldn't make anything of it. Falls to the edge of the box, and that was a strong enough strike that needed blocking. Strike coming in from, yeah, you guessed it, once again, Zul Zamrun.
He really has been a live wire in the second half, and his team have needed that. And obviously, as we've said before, it's fine if PSM go through and get a goalless draw, but in the circumstances you think they could be more ambitious. It's there for the taking.
And what we've seen once or twice in the last 5 minutes is one-on-one situations, particularly with Guy Jr. just finding himself with one defender for company, and that's going to perhaps happen more and more as Binthuong look to maybe chase this home game despite their numerical disadvantage. They just got themselves caught once or twice at the back. Still, Jamie, we await the arrival, if there is to be one, of Eero Markkanen, the 5-goal leading scorer in this competition for PSM Makassar. And it's not to be him now. So instead we see Ferdinand Sinaga, the 30-year-old forward, who scored once in this competition this season already. And he is indeed replacing a man who's worked his socks off. You said that would be the case for Guy Jr. at the start of this match, given the role he was given. And he's given a decent account of himself in that respect, at least.
Yep, he's worked tirelessly, thanklessly in many situations as well.
And there's half a chance. Oh, it didn't quite fall, though, for Max, who looked as if he was in a position of some danger.
To say it's an interesting choice bringing on Ferdinand. It's not what we were expecting.
Okay, and another change now. They're coming thick and fast. This one seeing the end of the outing for To Van Vo, to be replaced by a 21-year-old forward in Nguyen Tien Lin. So fresh young legs on the pitch at a time when they really do need it. Neatly done there up until the finish, and that's not even going to be out of play. Ball still alive. Not quite what Victor Matsurai is going to make of that, well, remains to be seen. At the moment down the other end, you can see these gaps opening up in this game, Jamie, by the way. Midfield has been vacated. It's sort of one end to another at times, and that's William Plum looking to bulldozer his way through a few blue shirts. He wins a free kick, but could have kept going.
Yes, I think the referee was a little bit quick with the whistle there. He could have waited a little bit longer. Clearly a foul there, but Plum's got good balance for a big man. He'd still got the ball. On the other hand, he looked as if he was quite happy to have the free kick. He's had that look throughout this second half, hasn't he? He's not really
struggled to get
as
going.
If he's enjoyed himself at all.
Struggled a bit here. There's Klopp who takes it short.
Work.
Yeah, the thing about this, Jamie, as well, is they've passed up the opportunity to make more of that free kick. They've not really made much. That's, again, just a ball floated in. Very, very comfortably dealt with by Tran Do Kwong there. That lacked a cutting edge. That looks as if it's going to find its way all the way through to the other keeper, Rivki Mokadompit. This is a game that, again, just looks as if it's drifting again.
think the top of the game you asked if it was going to be a goal feast or it was going to be a cagey affair, John. I think we've got the answer now. Probably if it had stayed at 11 against 11, it might be a bit more expansive, but...
Well, that's nicely done, nicely read. Hold Tantai it was, and there's good play keeping in there from Wanda Luiz. He looks up, he's got a man on the far post, but he looks as if he's picked out the keeper, and has indeed. Too close to Rivki. That's nicely angled out to the right-hand side by Willem Pluim, who's gone again, by the way. There's an opportunity here in the middle of the box, but he just showed too much of it there to the centre half, and across with the challenge came Tien Lin. Mark Klock. Taufik. Just checked inside again. Composed on the ball, and that's a smart play. Out he goes. And there's an opportunity when that would have needed something truly spectacular. Maybe more than Ferdinand Sinaga has in his locker, but he went for it.
Well, full marks for ambition there. A little bit behind him. Tempted to go with the bicycle kick. In the end, it's a sort of sideways on version that really didn't get the technique at all right.
That was the two substitutes linking up there, Ramat and Ferdinand Sinaga. And they've brought something a little bit different to the away side, as the home support does all it can to just drum up something from a team which looks as if it's squandering its home advantage here. Their cause hardly helped, of course, by the sending off just 5 minutes into the second half of the left-back Win Trung Tin. Made it a much harder second half for a Binh side which didn't really have much to build on from the first period, to be honest.
It was never going to be easy, but certainly he made it a lot harder. And you've got to feel sorry for the coach. You know, you set everything up for the second half and your fullback does something stupid early.
Well, Ali Rabo then did all he needed to do, just clearing.
Well, he's been very steady throughout, hasn't he, Ali Rabo? Okay, let's put it the other way. Defences have been on top. They've dealt with everything that's come their way pretty comfortably. Both sides looked a little bit more dangerous on the flanks,
without really offering any challenging angles of balls into the area. Nothing particularly dangerous offensively from either side. That's almost a 50-50. In fact, it turned into a 50-50 there, and Mansarai is furious that he didn't get the decision. Pluim for PSM Makassar. Squeezed out there really, and in the end he forced the pass. And again, that little shake of the head. Not a happy player, not a happy captain. He's not really been able to get into this game the way he did in the first period, when he was able to carry the ball into dangerous positions, dictate the tempo for his side. It's been somewhat peripheral in this half.
He has. He's got that sort of brooding look about him. And such a big personality that when he's not running the show for them, it's difficult to see who can take over.
Well, that's an aimless ball clipped forward that might just turn into something there. Leo Tantai once again, always keen to get on the ball, always keen to play a ball in, and there it is. The crossing was all that they needed, but the finish was supplied by the young substitute Nguyen Tien Linh, and he did it very nicely indeed. Leo Tantai with a ball that asked questions of the defence, and questions they simply couldn't answer.
Well, they finally get a good cross in, and this young substitute has done really so well. Just a little glancing header right into the corner of the goal. Timed the run perfectly. And, well, I didn't see that one coming, I've got to say, John. I thought if anyone was going to get the goal, it would be PSM, but fair play to the home side.
Well,
Lovely
it was a
ball
goal
in.
really made by the number 14. We've seen that he has got quality on the ball. He went and got it. And, you know, when that ball struck in there, it's all about the run. But that finish was accomplished in a way we haven't seen from any of the strikers on show. And he's really just run into there on spec.
Well, there's so many good things in that. First of all, you're right, Le Tantai having a little look up and then just floating the ball in. The timing of the run was excellent. And that's such a difficult header because it's coming... He's barely changed the angle of the ball, just done enough to creep it inside the net. Fantastic goal.
Well, as a young man who's made a big impact on this game, 21-year-old Win Tianlin has got the home fans in very good voice indeed, and that's come as something of a shock to PSM Makassar, who probably felt that even if they weren't at their best, they were doing fine. Here's Juan de Luis. He has to be careful with the pressure on Evans there. Is he going to win this one? Was it a back pass? The crowd says yes.
I say yes.
And
I think the ref says yes.
Has been given a little bit of assistance here. Certainly looked as if that came back off the foot of Evans.
And it's a deliberate pass back to the goalkeeper. It's quite clear.
He's done well to get in front of his man there, and from that moment on, Evans was struggling. But was that deliberately a pass back, or was it just a lack of control?
I think when it goes straight to the goalkeeper like that, you have to say it's a deliberate pass back.
Now, what do you do from these, Jamie, quickly? Obviously, it's very close. You can see the 6-yard box just a yard or so away.
Well, it's an indirect free kick, so all those defenders have got to be behind the goal line. So the only thing you can do is just to presumably knock it slightly backwards, and then the guy who's striking it has got to hit it towards the roof of the net.
Massive opportunity. No sooner have they gone in front than they get themselves an opportunity to double that lead. And it looks as if the power, I mean, Ali Rabo looks as if he fancies driving this one towards the roof of that net. As you rightly said, it's all about being cute and powerful at the same time. Here's the move. Is there a finish? It's Rabo! And instead he drilled it low and without a great deal of accuracy. It was going wide. Oh, brilliantly won back here. And it suddenly looks now as if PSM Makassar have to be careful that this one doesn't get too far away from them. Suddenly an urgency and a snap to the Bindwong play here. They sense that there might be another goal coming their way. Max has made a run down the right-hand side, and they've certainly got some legs on the park now. Substitutes playing their parts. But it's the little number 14 there who's gamely chasing a lost cause, who's really got them up and running once again. Le Tantai. And now it's a touch of cramp obviously there, but it's the home side, Jamie, that suddenly have just got a new lease of life in this game.
It's one of the great things with football. This is the man we expected to see at some stage, Markkanen. A bit too late. But football is because it's such a relatively low-scoring game. Just one moment can change everything around. They were nowhere near 10 yards back when that ball was taken. I don't think you can afford to have an extra touch. I think you just roll it back and let the second man smack it.
Yeah, they were always going to close that, and as it was, it spooked a central defender who was looking to hit the ball, and the result was you screwed it wide. Well, medical staff are there. It's clearly just a little cramp at the end of a taxing outing. Well, let's talk a little bit about the last throw of the dice there from Dario Kalazic, the 27-year-old Finn, Eero Markkanen, who you've just seen coming on. And you might have noticed a very imposing physical specimen. He's scored 5 goals already in this AFC Cup campaign. And, you know, Jamie, you've seen enough of the player. He's someone that they need to really just get on the end of crosses, isn't he?
Well, he needs a lot of chances to score the goals that he does. He's missed an awful lot of chances from very close range, but if you keep getting chances, then the odds are that you will convert some of them, and he has got a number of goals to his name. He's not the most mobile, he's not the cleverest on the ball, but he is a physical presence. And he's got to be. I thought he was got to be worth a throw of the dice a little bit earlier. Maybe when Ferdinand came on, I'd have had Makinen on.
Well, he's got time, and it might just take one set piece, one opening. But as it is, they've got a bit of defending to do because it's a rejuvenated Beckham X Bindwong side that looks to hoist the ball into the evening sky here. Nothing really coming of that, and the ball rather wasted, to be honest, at a time when they have a 1-0 advantage.
But he's a fella who's given them a real game in this second half. I think Wanda Luis has been excellent. He's actually done more, I think, when he's played on his own up front there.
Yeah, it's a good point. And that's the first contribution there of the towering Finn, and it's to concede a free kick. The player's down holding his face. And one suspects that the Beckham X Bindwong players know what they're going to get when Makinen's involved, and know perhaps how they're going to react whenever there's a challenge. You might want to call it the Peter Crouch syndrome. Defenders do what they do when he's around. Well, here's another interesting option for Bindwong to take. Their Kyrgyzstan defender Benjamin Shumeko, presumably in response to the arrival of Markkanen.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not bad in the air. And I didn't think Markkanen did anything wrong on that challenge at all. As when we looked at it again, no arm raised, he just jumped and beat his man.
Well, a slip there on the delivery, and the ball's given away once again by Bindwong. They need to be a little bit better than that, as they certainly don't want their slender 1-0 lead taken away from them. They've worked hard for this with 10 men, and it would be something to take away from home. There's an opportunity to get a cross in. Stayed in play, we understand, and that's neatly done as well. There's a robust challenge came in from Shumeko once again. And there's the danger man, Markkanen, trying to tee it up. Oh, and there's a challenge there that needed to be very, very accurate.
Well, they certainly got the ball in that they needed to Markkanen, and he did pretty well there.
It was Ramat who found himself on the end of this one. One way or another, Markkanen managed to lay it off very well, actually. The challenge just came in from behind there, from a combination of players there. It was partly Benjamin Shumeko who got in there, and it was very risky.
It was awfully close to being a penalty, wasn't it?
So we've seen more drama in the last few minutes of this game than we saw in the preceding 80 or so. Nothing wrong with that, though. We got to the business end of this game here in Bindwong, and you wouldn't rule out something else happening before the final whistle goes. Thumped forward by Ali Rabo. And look at those gaps in midfield. Really has opened up this. Just crying out for a little bit of quality, and there might be something else there. That was JEONBUK who tried to get something going there. And once again, whether or not you agree with the decision, it was Lei Tantai who made the referee make a decision by wanting the ball, getting on it, being good enough to draw a challenge.
Yeah, he's been very influential, hasn't he, Lei Tantai? We did focus on that woefully mishit shot earlier on, but he's done lots of good things in this game, and including the assist for the goal. And although we talk about the foreign signings, it's several of the Vietnamese indigenous players who've really caught the eye. Van Vu Tan Tai, or the two Tan Tais, in fact.
But we're not done just yet, and that falls in the area, but not to the liking of the referee.
I think in the circumstances, if Bindwong go through to a 1-0 win, I think they'll be delighted with the outcome.
Và như vậy là trước khi đến với những diễn biến gay cấn của hiệp thi đấu thứ hai, chúng ta hãy cùng dành một ít phút quảng cáo cho nhà tài trợ FP88vn.com. Và nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay không biết sẽ đặt cược cho đội bóng của chúng ta ở đâu, thì hãy truy cập fp88vn.com. Đây là một trong những nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu và đang đứng top tại diễn đàn đặt cược châu Á JEONBUK. Các bạn có thể yên tâm đặt cược tại đây. Hãy truy cập ngay fp88vn.com và đừng bỏ lỡ cơ hội.
But that's good hounding there. Oh, and in the end, nipped away from him too. These are key moments in the game. There is JEONBUK, who's drifted deeper and deeper in this match. He's played a good ball there for the ever-willing Wonder Luis. He really has impressed in this game. Oh, okay. Defender resisted temptation to fly in.
I don't think I could have resisted if I was playing against him there.
Might have taken a yellow card there. And that's nicely done, and he's still going. And there's an opportunity. It's the incredible Lei Tan-tai who sets it up once again for the goal scorer, but this time the header's off target from Tianlin.
Well, that same partnership, and Lei Tan-tai, great work there.
Well, even Plum couldn't catch him there, and look at that little bit of quality, lifted it up. In fact, just took it a little bit off it there, and that would have been an even harder header to get on target.
Backpedaling there is really difficult, but again, he had to be there. You've got to get into those positions, and Nguyen Tianlin has really done well since he's come on.
Well, let's give some credit to the manager, Nguyen Tan Son, who's made the right substitutions. They've really impacted this game. And there's a drilled shot. The keeper was absolutely planted, and it was Plume who had the quality to do it. Kept it down well, just couldn't hit the target.
Well, if you wanted someone on the pitch to take that shot on, he'd be the man you'd select. Never any question, he wasn't going to balloon it over the crossbar, but just didn't quite get the angle right.
But again, wears a pained expression as that one get away from him, and maybe the game is going to get away from his PSM Makassar side. As Evans works it forward, a sense of urgency now as they seek to get something from this trip to Vietnam. Players in the area, and big players too, but they can't find Markkinen on this occasion. It's rather easily given away by Taufik there. And an opportunity for Binh Duong to once again find the man of the half. Wonder Luis, who's done superbly there. Drew the foul from Abdul Rahman, and that just eats up a little bit more time.
When you lose a man like that early in the second half, you do need players to step up to the mark, and I think several of the players for Binh Duong have done exactly that. That fella in the picture there, Wonder Luis, would be one of them. Lei Tan-tai would be another one. And I think Ali Rabo's been very good at the back as well.
Oh, there's a little bit of space over on the far side there, and it just needed a bit of quality from JEONBUK there, whose legs had betrayed him. He just couldn't get after that one. As a result, a chance for Zul Zamran to build, and they do nicely down the right-hand side, but time's running out. The ball has to get into this area soonish, and it doesn't, because the man we just mentioned there, Ali Rabo, was back defending. Of the substitutes, Max has struggled really to get on the ball, but he's a presence, certainly putting in a lot of work, certainly filling in. We've seen Mansarai drop really, really deep. It's just for a moment there, it looked as if there might be a challenge on Tran Duc Quoc, but Markkinen couldn't get there. And that is that. One more blast of the whistle of Rohan Arumugan, and we've heard plenty of that in the course of this game. And as it is, we come to the end of a match that really was defined by the substitutes that came on to great effect for Beckham x Binh Duong in the second half. And one of those substitutes, it was Nguyen Tianlin, who got his head superbly on a lovely ball to score the goal that separates these two sides. But we're only halfway through this AFC Cup ASEAN Zonal semi-first leg. But in Binh Duong tonight, it's a result that pleases the home crowd. Binh Duong win it by a goal to nil.
Many thanks to your commentary team of John Dykes and Jamie Reeves. So 1-0 in the first leg between Beckham Bin Duong and PSM Makassar. After the break, we are turning our attentions from the AFC Cup to the AFC Champions League and the Shanghai Stadium, where Shanghai SIPG hosts JEONBUK Hyundai of Korea. Kickoff coming up next.
Sunday, UFC Fight Night.
What a fantastic stylistic matchup.
Live, Sunday, on Fox Sports.
Relentless. You better watch out. Yo, you need to run. You're calm in the storm. See, I can't stop. It's on you. And if you think it's over, I'll get torn. I rock rounds both day and night, but you can never get hype. You can save your life. It's like a great fight when they catch a seal. That's a deal.
We're ready. The lights go out.
We've seen them come together. He's going for it again. He locks up. Boy, was that close.
Look at this shot. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Are you ready? You ready? Fight! Bam! Relentless, multi-tested champions. That was proper perfection. This man was totally untouchable. Stay relentless, relentless.
Okay, class, craft time.
Hello, I'm Forky.
We got this kindergarten thing under control, eh? Can't believe I'm talking to a spork.
From the Shanghai Stadium, it is AFC Champions League knockout round action in the round of 16, and it's a blockbuster meeting of the champions of China and South Korea. And as far as the home side are concerned, having finally landed the Chinese Super League crown, Shanghai SIPG now set their sights on continental glory. But if they are to progress this season, they must first avenge a Champions League thrashing at the hands of tonight's opponents, the Korean League winners JEONBUK Hyundai Motors. Now, when these two sides first met in this competition, it came at the quarterfinal stage some 3 seasons ago, and JEONBUK in the second leg had at Shanghai a 5-0 thrashing before going on to win the Champions League that season, one of their 2 continental titles. But times have changed, as you can see from these magnificent scenes and the stature of the players playing for Shanghai SIPG. They've grown stronger since then, advancing now to the knockout round for the 4th straight season. So HUK leading the way, but they know that they are up against a powerful side. Now, last season Shanghai went out at this stage to the eventual champions Kashima Antlers. Tonight's opponents JEONBUK have made at least the quarterfinals every year since 2014. This is their 11th knockout round appearance. It's a record for Korean clubs. The home side, though, have had an extra day's rest, I should say. They played in the league on Friday, but they were beaten by Guangzhou. That's their first defeat after a 15-game unbeaten run. So heavyweights in action here, something really to savour in Shanghai, and I'm delighted to welcome to the commentary box for this one alongside me, Fox Sports' very own Rish Roshan Rai. That's so much to look forward to here. Will it be cagey, though, I wonder, as we look at a side here in the shape of Shanghai SIPG, which will work the 3+1 rule, which means that they can get Odil Akhmedov in, as he's an AFC player, to go with HUK, to go, of course, with Oscar and Elkerson, their foreign imports.
Yeah, that's right. Akhmedov coming into this side, didn't play at the weekend against Guangzhou. He replaces the number 20, Yang Shiyan, who started in central midfield for Shanghai SIPG and who has been playing in central midfield for Shanghai SIPG in the domestic Chinese Super League. And of course, you mentioned there the 3+1 rule coming into play here, so that means Odil Akhmedov gets a start in central midfield and he'll add power in those central positions. We'll wait to see if he sits alongside Chai Hoi Kang or whether he's allowed to go box to box there. But the number 6 Chai Hoi Kang will be just expected to sit in front of that back three.
A few words then from our officials. That's Nawaf Abdullah Shukrallah from Bahrain, and once he's had a word with two opposing physical specimens, it must be said, none more so than HUK, obviously. I'll be able to list the team news for JEONBUK. Now, as we just mentioned, it was a defeat at the hands of Guangzhou, whereas in contrast, a much better preparation for this one for the away side. But they had to play on Saturday, did JEONBUK. They beat Incheon United. Incheon United took goals in the to maintain their narrow lead at the top of the K-League standing. Their team news here is this: 3 changes. Lee Yong, Bernie Ibini and Kim Jin-soo coming in. Lee Yu-jeon, Choi Chul-sun and Han Seung-yu are out. Obviously, all eyes then will be on Kim Shin-wook. 8 goals in 15 appearances and 3 in this competition this season.
Yeah, he's in great form this season, and he's actually a player that I think sometimes gets a little bit of stick unfairly. Just because he looks a little bit gangly when he plays at times, looks a little bit unorthodox perhaps, but you know, he's very effective in the end. For JEONBUK here, the game is all about getting their fullbacks into crossing positions. Kim Shin-wook either hits it towards goal or knocks it down for his midfield, but have a look at that bench. There are plenty of quality and experience.
The other thing as well I draw your attention to is Jose Manuel Moraes. Now, since he's arrived on the scene and taken over from a highly successful coach, it looks very much as if the focus has been on defence. This is Vitor Pereira, and of course he needs no introduction, having worked wonders. But this man looks as if his primary goal has been to tighten things up at the back. We've seen them really not conceding as many goals. Obviously, in a very tough group stage, Shanghai conceded, 8 goals, but maybe that was down to the quality of the opposition. Yeah. Or maybe JEONBUK just look even more sturdy at the back.
You know what's fascinating about that is when you look at Moraes and when you look at JEONBUK, in terms of the goal-scoring form in the Korean League, they're actually the top goal scorers in that competition. But you're absolutely right, when it comes to this competition, he set them up to be a little bit more defensive play on the counter-attack in those situations.
Let's do this.
He wants them to be very structured at the back there, and they're the best defense in this competition in terms of goals conceded. Just 3 goals in 6 group stage matches, so they know how to grind out those results. They know how to get results away from home here, and it was very impressive, even though they did struggle a little bit against Buriram. But when you think about the group that they got out of there, coming up against Urawa, coming up against Beijing Guoan, and beating both those sides, home and away, it really says a lot about this JEONBUK side.
Well, it's an early foray forward here for JEONBUK, the away side here in their vivid green strip, up against the Red Eagles of Shanghai SIPG. An early touch of the ball there for Chai, who has an important role to play, as you rightly said there, Roshan, in just holding that midfield. They've got so much flair running forward from it, in particular Oscar, who has just been on fire, hasn't he? We've seen that in this competition this season already. But they're up against a solid organised side, and they might have a chance early on in the piece, and they do! Did it cross the line? Flag is raised, goal given, and what a start this is for JEONBUK.
Well, we've got to have a look back at the stats and see if this is the fastest goal scored in this competition, because have a look at what we said here, the longer ball into Kim Shin-wook, and that is what he's so effective at, those knockdowns, and it gets played into the path of Moon Seon-min, another player who's been in really good form for them this season. 5 goals in the K-League, running on in behind that SIPG defense, and he keeps his composure there just to dink it over, or lift it over Yan Junling rather. What a start, away goal out here at Shanghai SIPG.
And that is a truly remarkable start then. It was Moon who carried on running. I just looked at Yan then and wondered if he missed his opportunity to make a challenge. He hesitated and he paid the price.
Well, I don't think they expected that from JEONBUK right from kickoff. Just the side that look a little bit more prepared there. Not dealing with the initial longer ball that came into Kim Shin-wook, and then the second ball, he's knocking it down back into central midfield, and then a simple ball over the top, and it's a clever finish from Seon-min there.
Wow, that was a remarkable start to the game in so many ways, and you could see Hulkerson trying to just lift his team, and HUK looking to try and lift them as well as they try to shake off such a shocking start. And they have an early opportunity to do something to redress that imbalance.
Và để tạm gác lại những giây phút căng thẳng ở trong trận thi đấu này, chúng tôi xin được trân trọng giới thiệu đến các bạn SP88vn.com là trang nhà cái đến từ châu Âu, có kèo ăn cao nhất hiện nay và đang được đông đảo anh em hâm mộ bóng đá tại Việt Nam lựa chọn để tham gia. SP88vn.com đảm bảo uy tín cho anh em nạp và rút tiền trực tiếp qua thẻ ngân hàng chỉ trong vòng 5 đến 10 phút mà thôi. Hãy nhanh tay tham dự tại SP88vn.com.
And it looked as if it came from absolutely nowhere, just a diagonal ball played in. Ooh, and that's a late challenge. He's just left a little bit on there. Well, it's the JEONBUK player who stayed down, but you have to say it looked very much really as if the goal scorer was the guilty party there. Just lost control and
just lost his
footing there, didn't he?
Yeah, just slipped there, and there's nothing.
And poor Wei Jun is going to come up saying, "Hang on a minute."
Nothing to do with Wei Jun at all.
As you can see, the turf tells the story there. He got his foot stuck. As you can see, he's taken quite a bit of the pitch with him there, and he's all apologetic smiles as the referee has shown common sense there and understanding that it was a somewhat unusual challenge. Well, somewhat unusual would describe the start to this game, which really has thrown this into a different light. It was going to be a difficult enough assignment, this, for Shanghai SIPG as it happened, and coming off the back of what happened in the Chinese Super League at the weekend, this is a bit of a moment for them.
Well, the thing is, with the way SIPG have set themselves out under Vitor Pereira for the last few games, it's more about playing on the counter-attack, and we already spoke about JEONBUK's ability, you know, just to hold on and be defensively very tight, particularly in this competition. It's just those 3 goals conceded. So it suits JEONBUK really, this situation here. They can sit back, wait for those opportunities to hit on the counter-attack, and they've got the players to do that. You know, they've got pace in Moon Sion-min, who can get forward, Bernie Abini as well, someone who could just stretch out this Shanghai SIPG side.
Well, they look for HUK there, who was trying to just plough his way through the middle. This is really going to be utterly compelling here, as there you go, the height advantage straight away shows there. Kim will always work that to his advantage, and tidy with the feet as well. There, nicely taken too, and that's a player who really is confident right now. Elkerson nods and goes and turns and runs, and that's where they need to be a little bit careful. Maybe a little bit lucky there to hear the referee's whistle there, as that got away from, well, Hamadov in midfield.
What did Akhmadov there? I think he gets perhaps a little bit fortunate there. Just a little bit of a tug on his left arm, and decided to go down and get his side a free kick in that situation.
Well, there he is once again. It just adds to the impression sometimes, Roshan, that it's something of a top-heavy side. When you see the 3+1 rule here, it throws into relief that they've got so much going forward. They bring Akhmadov into the side, but questions will be asked of that defence.
And that's an issue for them. That's been the issue for them this season, Shanghai SIPG, in defence and the defensive shape, and making individual errors in the matches that I've seen them play. So just take a look at Wang Shenchao there, bringing down JEONBUK player in that situation. Number 22, Kim Jin-soo. And it's just something that Pereira has had to address. It's something that he's had to look at over the last few weeks or so as this ball comes in.
And quite obvious who they were going for there, and there were 3 red-shirted SIPG players around him there, but nothing for Kim Shin-wook to deal with there. But he will be a constant threat throughout the course of this one. They will have known this, they will have worked on this one, but dealing with him on the night is another matter entirely. Once again, we just have a little niggly foul there that means we have a stop in play. An opportunity for the coaches to just impart a little bit more wisdom. Clearly throws a game. Whenever a goal comes that early, it just changes so much. That one should be comfortably dealt with there by Yan.
Well, your team talk straight away pretty much goes out the window there. You know, tactically you would have been telling your side, let's keep it nice and tight. First 15-20 minutes or so, and then you go and concede within the first minute of the match, as Bernie Abini puts one in.
That That was dealt with comfortably enough, and we've just seen once or twice getting caught in midfield. SIPG, something they want to avoid. But Oscar at the other end now, nicely done, turns in field, looks to find Hulk and put his considerable frame in the way and drew the foul. And immediately starts working on the referee too, he says.
Yeah, he just invited that contact from Min Hyuk there into his back. This is Oscar and Hulk looking to link up, looking to create something for Shanghai SIPG. I think it's always, intriguing, two-leg ties like this. They are a goal down, and yes, you will try and get yourselves back into this one, but you've also got to remember there's still plenty of football to be played here. And in the second leg, you don't want to open up too much too soon.
Well, it's Oscar looking to open up this defence from the set piece right now. Again, a tight cluster just on the edge of the D there, in the D in fact, and clips it too far though. And Bumkin very comfortably dealing with that one. Nicely done as well. Immediate bowl out and an opportunity down the left-hand side there. Turf looks just a little bit heavy in this one, Roshan. It's something we've seen down on this near side a couple of times now, players losing their footing. It was Kim Jin-soo on that occasion.
Well, it does look a lot thinner than it did last night in Guangzhou. It's really thick there, not really helping the passing game. That match between Guangzhou and Shandong.
That's swept out to the number 22, Kim Jin-soo once again. Shin Hyung-min, Kim once more. And again he releases early, and he releases Moon Hee, and there's danger for a second. Well, Yan stood his ground, and this time it worked.
Well, again, he's just getting on the inside of that Shanghai SIPG back three there. You have a look at the number 13, Wei Turn, just loses track of Moon Seon-min's movement. He just positions himself really well in between Wei Turn and Shi Ke.
Well, that's too easy. That's too easy. It's twice now. And you might argue it should have been two.
It was just fortunate for Shanghai SIPG on that occasion that it gave the opportunity for Yan Junling just to come out and close down. It skipped off the turf a little bit for Seon-min and made it a little bit more difficult for him.
And as it was, the goalkeeper, probably rightly in that instance, decided to stand his ground, and he came up with the save. Might have been thinking back to the goal itself and wondering if he should have come and challenged.
Again, just have a look at the positions that Seon-min is taking up here. Just in between Wei Turn and He Guan. He's struggling at the moment really to deal with his mobility and his pace in behind. Seon-min will drift in just to play a little bit closer to Kim Shin-wook. The same for Nabini on the right-hand side as well. That will create that bit of space for Kim Jin-soo and Lee Yong, the fullbacks, to get forward then.
And we've seen signs of that already. Oscar very deep now, operating in the centre circle. As the home crowd tries to play his part here. It had been a tremendous unbeaten run ahead of that defeat in the league at the weekend. 15 games, and they really are a force. Third place in the league as a result of that one, the champions.
As Beijing Guoan leading the way there in the Chinese Super League, and they're out of the Champions League, of course, can just fully focus on domestic action.
Well, it tells you a lot about the quality of JEONBUK. Remember, they beat Beijing Guoan twice, didn't they? Home and away. Also Urawa in the group stage of this competition. Such a solid outfit. 12 times they've participated, 11 times in the knockout round. They are a force.
And it took a bit of time for Jose Moraes to get things going for JEONBUK. Didn't start the season that well by their own high standards, and they'll know they're in a title race as well back home with Ulsan and FC Seoul. Ulsan level on points at the top of the table with JEONBUK. FC Seoul just a couple of points behind there in third position. Yeah, it was a little bit of experimentation when Moraes came in. Some JEONBUK fans weren't too happy. You know, it was always a big job coming in after Choi Kang-hee was so successful with this JEONBUK Hyundai side. Tried out 3 at the back before realizing that, you know, it's players look a little bit more comfortable playing with 4 in that 4-1-4-1.
So Oscar operating, really hugging that left touchline right now. Looks to switch play, looks to pick out one of 2, and there were 2 red-shirted players in the box then. But not for the first time it's dealt with, and not for the first time either. They look to release that man Moon down the left-hand side.
Well, this is an area of concern for Shanghai SIPG there. Just as Wang Shenchao gets forward in possession, SIPG are pushing their wing-backs forward to support the attack.
But here is Oscar once again, absolutely on fire. Remember, on the final match day of the group stage, that hat-trick against Ulsan. And that's another ball dragged across to the left and kept in play by Moon, who's seen an awful lot of it.
Clever switch as well from Son Junho, just to take it away from a situation where they were under a little bit of pressure. Lovely turn away from Chai Hui Kang there.
And they really are looking the part. They look very settled, they look confident, and that's obviously a lot to do with the confidence an early goal gives you. It's not a bad cross either. It was Bernie Abini there looking to make something happen. Moon retrieves it, slips a little bit as well. Might have to consider his footwear here tonight. And in the end, it was just a clumsy challenge from HUK as much as anything, but he's conceded it in a position that, given the presence in this game of Kim Shin-wook, might be something that they would be a little bit concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, Jinsu again, it's clumsy from HUK there. Just as Jinsu turns away, there's no need to put your leg in.
That's a sign of frustration there from the skipper, who's got to go back and make sure that this doesn't lead to something even more harmful. Lee Yong is over it. Looks for all the world as if he wants to just bend that one in towards the penalty spot. And there's the towering figure of Kim Shin-wook, looking to get on the end of things again. They've gone far deeper, and there's a man free on the far post. And again, a nervous moment at the back for Shanghai SIPG, who've rather messed up the clearance, but now managed to get it away. That's good feet. Akhmedov asking an awful lot there, though, of Alkerson, and he's not going to be able to reach that.
That's a clever header back to his goalkeeper, Son Junho, under a little bit of pressure.
But again, though, a wobble at the back defensively, and it just looked as if they might have maybe not picked up a man.
You can see quite clearly the outlet is Seonmin, using opportunities when they do win the ball to transition and hit those longer diagonals out into Seonmin there.
Well, if you are joining us some 15 minutes into this game, this round of 16 AFC Champions League tie, that goal came from Seonmin early on in the piece, very, very early on in the piece, really before anyone had settled into this game. And that's the goal that separates the two sides. As we see a half-hit shot, and again uncertainty at the back there as JEONBUK tried to make something of scraps. And it really is a feature of the game. We're seeing these diagonal balls played deep, deep into that Shanghai SIPG box. Not always looking for Kim Shin-wook, but knowing that maybe they can take advantage of some uncertainty there.
Oh, you just see him peeling away as well to try and take advantage of his height up against Wang Shenchao. And the intention of that cross as well. Just look at the flight of the ball. Up in the air makes it difficult. Looking towards the back post. JEONBUK is looking very comfortable at the moment, though, on the ball, out of possession as well.
Absolutely no rush for them whatsoever. They've got what they came for at the very least, which is an away goal. Very comfortably placed in this match right now, because Shanghai SIPG will, even at this early stage, know that they cannot afford to slip up once again. And look at that. How do you stop that? That's HUK getting a head of steam up, getting a bit of movement going, and in the end, the green-shirted players could only stop him with a foul.
That's the thing for SIPG, when they do want to get their attack going, can be a little bit predictable, because you know it's going to go to one of these guys here, HUK.
Well, he's trying to do it all on his own right now, to be honest with you, and Moon was having none of that. Nicks the ball away, and there's another little shake of the head of frustration from HUK there, and this could be danger. Oh, and that's just bobbled away there from the feet of Moon.
stronger, quicker in midfield there. He just had a look at Shin Hyung-min stepping forward, and then Lim Sun-yong picking up the second ball, looking to spray a pass out into Bernie Abini.
It looks as if they're looking to work the ball wide as often as they can, Roshan, and really get to these two wide men and create trouble, stretch Shanghai SIPG in areas that they don't particularly want to go.
Those are the options for them. As mentioned earlier, they'll look to get Kim Jin-soo and Lee Yong into advanced positions, provide crosses into Kim Shin-wook, either to have a go at goal himself or...
And there he goes again, sorry to interrupt, but HUK was determined that that was their ball, and in the end it looked as if he pleaded and got the decision.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. You know, referee initially wasn't going to give it at all. Just couldn't stand HUK's complaining, perhaps. Decided to blow his whistle there.
Don't make him angry. Really.
Couldn't see too much wrong with that, but perhaps Junho is falling across the running path of HUK in that situation.
Well, that's a little bit sloppy by JEONBUK standards, and an opportunity for Elkerson to get in behind here. He gets his head up and looks up, and here's a chance. Well, he tried to pick out HUK, and here comes Oscar on the left foot. What a save! What a save that was!
Wonderful save from Bum Kyun there. There's plenty of power behind that strike from Oscar. Lots of time here in the penalty box. It's a lovely run. You always knew the cutback was on there. Gratefully for JEONBUK on that occasion, Shin Hyung-min was there just to half clear it, but second ball falling to Oscar.
It's just the positioning, wasn't it there? He knew where he needed to be.
Như vậy là chỉ còn hơn 10 phút nữa thôi thì trận thi đấu của chúng ta sẽ kết thúc. Và trước khi tạm biệt anh em, chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu với anh em một website rất uy tín, đó chính là sp88vn.com. Hiện tại đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên đến 2 triệu đồng dành cho thành viên mới, hoàn toàn hợp pháp và an toàn. Hãy đăng ký tài khoản ngay tại sp88vn.com để nhận được ưu đãi nhé.
And Elkerson was looking for that cutback back into HUK, into the penalty area. And it comes back to Oscar here.
Well, if one doesn't get you, the other will, and if he doesn't get you, maybe this guy will. As it is, Oscar waits patiently, looking to deliver what one would imagine would be quality from this corner. In it curls, and away it goes. So more encouraging signs for the home side here after the shock of conceding within moments of the start of this match.
It's taken them quite a bit of time to get going, Shanghai SIPG, and just had an opportunity there to get themselves back on level terms, but it's come about because of some lax defending from JEONBUK.
Oh, he's playing on the shoulder there, looking to turn and make something happen, but the flag was raised. Just interested, you made a point earlier on about the number 6 for Shanghai SIPG, Che Hui-kang, and he does have to do a lot of work, and it looks as if they're looking to turn and drag him wherever they possibly can.
Especially when they were able to win it and transition quickly, JEONBUK there, because what you've got is Oscar peeling away out into that left-hand side as Kim Shin-wook gets into another aerial battle. Does well to win a free kick in a decent position here for JEONBUK.
And you can almost understand, can't you? You can almost understand what we're hearing there from He Guan, saying, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm standing my ground, but what you're not supposed to do is grab his arm.
Just an arm, it's just grabbing Kim Shin-wook's arm there in that situation. The referee is always going to look at that and say, yep, you've held him.
Well, they knew what was coming. They knew what they would be faced with, but you still have to work within the rules of the game of football. This is very central, very straight. Interesting to see what they conjure up from this one.
I just wonder if they've got an option just to change the angle. It does look like they might have a shot at goal there. Kim Jin-soo on his left foot. Got Lee Yong there as well. The central position.
It's Lee Yong, and it curls harmlessly away. Needed an awful lot more pace than that really to cause any kind of trouble.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think it ever looked like it had enough power on that. And Yan Junling is quick to come across and read that one.
Just went for the whip, but you can afford the luxury with a 1-goal lead of trying a few things here. And of course, he now knows that he's got to chase this one, got to come up with something. Early days just yet, and we've seen one or two signs already, of course, that Shanghai SIPG's formidable firepower has got every chance of finding a way through, but they need to be mindful at the back. And once more, it was Seon-min who was causing problems. He's been a handful.
Well, he certainly has, and it's just his mobility and his pace that's caused lots of issues for Wei Tun, number 13 there on this side of that back three.
Here's Akhmedov once again, key player for them. Pops up mainly on the right-hand side of that midfield. Looks to prompt from there. It's just drifted more central right now as they build. Back from Chai. This is better on the ball from the home side.
I just didn't see anything developing down that left-hand side. Decided to just recycle it a little bit. JEONBUK will, of course, just take this. Nice and composed, good structure of the ball there, this JEONBUK side.
Nicely done through the middle. Well, he's asked an awful lot there of himself as HUK, but he manages to retain possession.
It's well defended again by JEONBUK, just in central midfield. It looked for a moment there that HUK might have had a little bit of free space.
He's going to do well to shepherd that one out, and in the end does just enough.
Shin Hyung-min, just before this, doing a good job on HUK there, just to shift him out into the wider area.
What do you make of HUK as a leader? Does he want to take it all on? Is it good for the team that he does what he's doing?
I think he's very good for this SIPG side, and I think he's shown absolutely the right attitude ever since he's come in. And I think it's expected of him, you know, when you're paying that sort of money and when you know of the quality that he has. And I've touched on SIPG really looking at...
Oh, they're in behind. Is Bernie Abini here? Takes on the shot! And that needed to be smartly saved by Yan. Again, though, this is the worry. They're finding pockets down either side. And
như vậy là trận đấu của chúng ta đã bắt đầu rồi. Nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay chưa biết mình sẽ đặt cược cho hai đội bóng tại đâu, thì chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu với các bạn fp88vn.com. Đây là một trong những nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu và đứng top tại diễn đàn đặt cược châu Á JEONBUK. Các bạn có thể yên tâm đặt cược tại đây. Hãy truy cập ngay và đừng bỏ lỡ cơ hội.
JEONBUK's fullbacks in possession, Kim Jin-soo and Lee Yong.
And there it is again, just hung up there. A little bit too easy to deal with that one, but they've got players forward still. Plenty of them too, and didn't quite get purchase on that header there. It got in the right place there. Looked like it was Jung-ho with that header.
Yeah, just Jung-ho just found a little bit of space. Again, marking from Shanghai SIPG at a set piece. Not to be desired. But I just think, you know, we touched on HUK a little bit earlier. He is responsible for a lot of the attacking moves, and he is trying to create something, trying to do something for his side. He's bailed them out as well on quite a few occasions.
And when you look at that triumvirate, obviously we know all about Oscar and what he's done. Is Elkerson still the force he was?
I think so. I think he's been a very good signing for Shanghai SIPG. I think when you look at the lack of goal scorers in general in Chinese football.
Well, there's a chance! Oh, and the keeper could do nothing about it. It was opportunistic, and it very, very nearly resulted in a goal. Yuhai it was who just decided to go for that far post.
Who was that played that ball through? I think it was Elkerson with a flick on, and Yuhai was alert to that. Just pouncing on a bit of an error from Hong Jung-ho. It's a nice idea. It really is a good idea, just to trying to catch Bum Kyun off his line there.
So I dragged you in on Elkerson there, and he got involved straight away. And what's interesting about this game is that twice now we've seen little opportunities. First Oscar, and then that one there, where a little bit of inattention from the JEONBUK defence has very nearly been punished.
Yeah, a little bit of a lapse defensively, and SIPG have gotten in behind on those two occasions already.
And now they press forward once again. And that's no surprise whatsoever to see Lee Yong decide to go around the outside. The switch is on, and there it is, drilled once more to the left-hand side. Kim Jin-soo it is, and there's acres of space in the middle, but a poor touch.
Touch needed to go forward. Poor first touch there from Sun Yong.
And Sun Yong it is who's closing down the keeper in vain. But it comes back at Shanghai SIPG once again. Bernie Ibini. He gives and goes, and he wants it back, and he's going to get it back. Did he control with his arm, though? Yes, say the officials.
And quite clearly handball there from Bernie Ibini, but again, just getting in behind that SIPG defense.
And there's been a feature of the first 27-28 minutes of this match that they've almost gone in at will, haven't they, really? And they're doing this with the cushion of a one-goal advantage. Well, the home fans are an excellent voice. They're turning this into a tremendous occasion. It's lived up to its billing, hasn't it, this one, Roshan? We knew that this was going to be a compelling game. Didn't perhaps know it was going to start the way it did, but that in turn has added drama to the proceedings.
Yeah, it certainly has. Well, that's much better from Wei Chen on that occasion. Going up against JEONBUK there for that aerial ball and winning it cleanly. You know, always expected a good game here. The champions of China up against the champions of South Korea. Best attack in the East Zone. Best defense in this competition, JEONBUK.
Would you look at HUK? He's taken them all on once again, and this time he loses out, and that could cause problems because Bernie Ibini had a chance to stretch away down the right. And there was a late challenge, and that's something that the referee has not taken kindly to. And referee Nawaf has said that he's going to maybe give him the benefit of the doubt here. Let's have a look at this one. That's very cynical.
Yeah, very cynical indeed. A clear foul there. Seon Min was looking for that quick give and go.
And He Guan was not allowing him to go anywhere. So here we go again. Restart, and Kim Jin-soo down the left-hand side. This time he's going to have to go on his own if he wants to get around there. Or instead, oh, and that was so close to working once again. Partnership with Moon Seung-min down that left-hand side there, one way or another, is something that Shanghai SIPG just can't cope with.
Nice idea there from Kim Jin-soo, just to try and play in Moon Seung-min. They're having difficulties, SIPG, just stopping the ball out in those wider areas, getting players up tighter and closer to Lee Yong and Kim Jin-soo.
Just wonder whether they've got enough cover in those deeper midfield positions where Akhmedov obviously naturally is just pushing forward a bit, and as a result they're leaving gaps. There's Bernie Ibini once again. This time they don't whip the ball in early. They still have an opportunity to deliver something, and it might just be coming in towards that far post. There it goes again, looking for Kim, and that's well defended. Good defensive header this time coming in. Wang Shenzhou was.
Well, we've seen that pattern from JEONBUK 2 or 3 times already in this first half. If necessary, they'll delay the first cross that comes in and just trying to create a little bit of space from Lee Yong, and not afraid to whip it in from deeper positions. Always looking towards the back post.
That's a long throw from Jin-soo, again looking for Kim. And he did get there, but they can't win the second ball. Little nudge, though, deemed illegal from Bernie Ibini. And when you've got that kind of delivery, that's a penalty spot throw, that is. And there's danger.
Outstanding throw in from Kim Jin-soo, and why not? You know, it's very difficult, becomes very awkward for defenders to deal with, and something we have seen in football to the fore over the last few years or so, and in training as well. You do work on that. You know you're coming up against a side that has that in their locker, has that ability to launch those long throws into the box.
And of course they'll argue maybe they dealt with it effectively enough there. It's always the second ball, and that's the one they managed to just about deal with. So we're past the halfway mark, and the home side are trailing to high quality Korean opposition here. The champions of that country are leading the champions of China, Shanghai SIPG, by that early goal. Goal from Moon Seung-min, who has popped up a couple of times down this left-hand side, and you might just feel there that his delivery could have been better there, Jin-soo. Here he is again on the ball.
Well, what you actually have with Shanghai SIPG defensively in midfield there. You have Chai Hui Kang and Akhmedov. They've got to cover lots of ground in those wider areas because HUK and Oscar aren't really going to track back defensively.
And JEONBUK have come very well prepared for that, it must be said. The game plan has been outstanding so far. Akhmedov with a very, very long early ball looking for the on-running Oscar, who might have a chance here if he can gain his footing. Was he fouled? No, he just lost his feet. But that was an opportunity.
Big opportunity for Oscar there. Just trying to keep his run going. Couldn't quite keep his footing on that occasion. Again, just a slight lapse at the back from JEONBUK.
I'd like to see how deep that run came from, though. Akhmedov picked him out early, diagonal there.
Run across the park, starting out on the left-hand side. Oscar running across that defensive line, you can see there. And to his credit, Lee Yong tracks that run from right back, moves all the way across. Does get a little bit fortunate.
Meanwhile, Oscar's won the free kick over on the far side there. He really takes a lot of stopping.
And space was just created for Oscar. There's an opportunity as HUK had dropped off into a deeper position.
Chai makes his way into the area now. 5 red shirts to aim at, and they find one of them, and the goalkeeper was beaten, but that one just runs behind.
That was a good game of football. Again, it's quality delivery. It just invites goalkeeper Bum Kyun there.
Off the back of Wei Jun it was, and that could have gone anywhere.
Certainly could have. Comes off the back of Wei Jun, as quite rightly mentioned.
Oscar once again. Well, the big men have all stayed up once more. This really does look like one of the more likely paths to go for this home side. Quality this man delivers. Sizes it up, whips it in under the crossbar, but that time it was Kim who got the header away. Oh, and that's a sloppy piece of defending. Here comes Min Seung again. Seung-min rather again, and he took them all on, and why not? The confidence levels he's showing in this game so far are such that he will run at goal there. It's resulted in a foul though. And again, he looks at his boots. He's just struggling for traction, isn't he?
We just have a look at the mixture of studs that they've got there. Some of these players have got the soft ground studs on here. Seon-min there with the, I'm guessing the harder surface, a firmer surface selection in terms of his boot choice. He does slip. The touch gets away from him, allows Hye-gwan an opportunity to put in the tackle.
Yeah, and he's done that a couple of times now. You can see, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a very good point.
The stud screwed in for a softer surface, and perhaps would have been the better choice for some of these players.
Well, that was what happened early in the game, and he managed to keep his footing well enough there. That was a super finish when you look at it, when you look at the pace he was moving at, and they could barely believe it. The JEONBUK supporters who'd only just taken their seats, really. The game had only just kicked off.
It was a lovely touch from Seon-min, just to lift it over Yan Jun-ling. And you're absolutely right, you know, the speed that he was going at, running out of space, really. And he kept his composure incredibly well.
But what he hasn't done from that moment on is really keep his footing particularly well. That's something they need to address when they get to the break. There's a potential change here, remember, because that looked like it was unfortunate, but a problem for Hye-gwan there.
Yeah, it's just that coming together with Moon Seon-min.
Just a precautionary warm-up by the sound of things there. Looks very much as if he's going to be good to go once he's been led to the sidelines.
What they could do is they do have Zhang Wei who can come in. Will need a bit of a restructuring in that back three. If one of their central defenders is out injured, then well, he's been having a word with the linesman.
It's been a long-running conversation
now.
Okay, he's good to go once again. So Hye-gwan patched up. And somewhat gingerly makes his way back into that three-man Shanghai SIPG defense.
You know what I like about Moraes going to talk to the linesman is at least the linesman has an impact on the decisions in the game. You see coaches most of the time going over and screaming at the fourth officials who have absolutely no input at all.
Yep, you're right there. Hulk takes it on his chest. Haven't seen much of him in the last few minutes. And there's an opportunity for Elkerson. Oh, and he went for power with the header, went early with the header, but just couldn't get it down.
It's again a decent ball into the box there. I thought it might have been pulled up for a free kick. Well, hands in the back of the defender there. Wang Shen-chao plays a decent ball into Elkerson. Lee Yong once again just keeps track of that run.
And that's where they're dangerous, these players coming onto the ball for SIPG, and we're seeing a lot of these balls, these angled balls from fairly deep positions. Smart defending, nicely done by JEONBUK.
There's Lee Yong doing just enough just to put Elkerson off with that header there.
Well, this first half has flown by, really. So many talking points. So much has been fascinating in the way it's unfolded. You might perhaps argue that Shanghai SIPG are fortunate to be just the one goal down. They've had some wobbles defensively, but then again, they've had their opportunities. The best probably Oscars, that was well saved. And here he comes again. Oh, no stopping him. Can he pick a pass, though? Oh, Mabini's headers played them into trouble. Oscar lifts it in. There's the chance! There's the equaliser! And it came from a mistake. But that doesn't matter to Wang Shen-chao, who's got there on the end of things to level it up in Shanghai.
That was Bernie Abini with that mistake there. Heading it backwards, and instead of going to a teammate, went in the path of Yu Hai. I think it was, to deliver a good ball into the box. Shen-chao, that's exactly what you want. Wang Shen-chao, Yu Hai with the assist there. Just plays it into that danger area, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. That's what you want. That's a movement that you want. When one of your wing-backs pulls out into a wider position, you get the opposite full-back or the opposite wing-back getting himself into the box, make up the numbers. It's a good finish from Shen-chao.
And that is just what the doctor ordered. They were shocked early in the half, and towards the end of it, they have managed to take advantage of one of the lapses we've seen, and there have been one or two of them. There's a little slip as well, and play goes on, and suddenly the crowd are up and they're noisy.
Và chúng ta hãy cùng đến với một vài phút quảng cáo cho fp88vn.com. Đây là trang nhà cái đến từ châu Âu, có kèo ăn cao nhất hiện nay và đang được đông đảo anh em hâm mộ bóng đá tại Việt Nam lựa chọn để tham gia. fp88vn.com đảm bảo uy tín cho anh em nạp và rút tiền trực tiếp qua thẻ ngân hàng chỉ trong vòng 5 đến 10 phút mà thôi. Hãy nhanh tay tham dự tại fp88vn.com.
The only thing I can think of, Roshan, to explain this slipping is that something happened to affect the conditions sometime between the warm-up and the kick-off, because they really do look, a lot of these JEONBUK players who have got it completely wrong. Oh, that's nice, Kim. And in the end, it needed a lunging challenge that hasn't quite worked. Here's Akhmedov for Shanghai SIPG, plays that early ball outside of the right foot. They've got two players forward. One of them's HUK, and he's looking now to see Elkerson's run. But will he go on his own? It's HUK. Oh, and in the end, an indecisive sort of ball that's comfortably dealt with.
Just saying, he wanted a looping ball towards the back post there, Elkerson. HUK was just waiting and waiting for support to arrive in a more central position.
Sun Young getting forward now. Kim, well, he's just under pressure and loses possession there.
He was just isolated in that situation. Kim Shin-wook, Moon Seon-min, and made the run far too early there. He really didn't have an option outside of him to play it into. Kim Shin-wook.
We've got a game on our hands here, Roshan, and the crowd are enjoying this. We're enjoying this one. It's a tough call now, because both sides look as if maybe through mistakes as much as anything, they could concede further.
It's a good response from SIPG. I mean, took them some time to get going, but here's HUK on the ball once again.
And look at that, he hands one off, tries to go through another, but that won't stop him trying again and again and again. It's a deft little layoff there. Jin-soo carried on his run. Back it goes to Yan, who does the smart thing, just lifts it to Elkerson, who backed in, got the header but loses out. Bernie Abini now, he's got an easy pass outside him. There we go again, change of direction from JEONBUK. Jin-soo, he looks to curl a ball in. And that time it drifts harmlessly out of play, but again the design was there. Get it across to that far post, look for somebody to cause trouble.
Well, it's a little bit too quiet just now. They're certainly up for it now, the SIPG fans. Was that an equalizer? And you give credit to Shanghai SIPG. It took some time for them to get going, really. JEONBUK looking like the better side perhaps in the first 20 minutes or so. And SIPG creating a couple of opportunities. Seemed to gain a little bit of confidence.
It was a little bit too physical there from Elkerson, and leaving his mark on his man there. But again, we've seen that as a feature, particularly from Akhmedov, that diagonal ball, that early ball, looking to just switch the play.
I don't think there's too much wrong in that. Just two players going up for a 50-50.
Oh, look at that crowd in the background there. This is when this competition comes alive, doesn't it, really? We've got into the business end of it, the meaningful knockout round, and suddenly we see the crowd, suddenly we hear the atmosphere, suddenly we see the players as much as anything demonstrating that. Oh, Kim Shin-wook with a header there, and there's an opportunity here. The keeper, again, slightly hesitant, and may well have been punished by that.
Well, again, just simple Group 1 football, really. Kim Shin-wook again with that knockdown, and then Moon Seon-min, the second ball in for that third man running. Number 5 there, Sun Yong.
And he's got forward a lot in this half, hasn't he?
The expectation is that from JEONBUK, the way that they play, Shin-wook's going to drop off, he's going to link up, try and flick it on, play those little knockdowns, and you need your midfielders or your wider players running in behind. And
a couple of minutes left in this half. Have we got time for another goal? That's Akhmedov there, who won possession but then just surrendered it.
Cá sấu này bây giờ khá trâu rồi, kiểu người bị tóm lại là Clam Rễ, lao vào can là chuẩn. Từ cuối ngay, nhưng sao? Nằm luôn.
Would you say, Roshan, has been a fair reflection this scoreline, or would either side feel that maybe it might have been different?
No, I think it's a fair reflection of how the game has gone. I think JEONBUK, yes, they said did look like the better side the first part of this first half, and then SIPG, they reacted well, they responded well, came back into it, and seemed to just get a little bit more encouragement from the opportunities that they did create.
Well, there's space there for Kim Shin-wook. He can get a shot away here. He does, and he just misses. Oh, what a chance that was.
I think he's been playing well, Kim Shin-wook, and he's very confident again. A touch into him, and the first touch off his chest. There's a little bits of movement here. As this is physicality, it becomes very difficult to deal with. Nice idea. How close is he there? Try to smash it. Just wants to guide it into the far post.
Oh, that was a gaping opportunity there, wasn't it, on the far post? And he just steered it wide rather than inside, and that could be a big moment in the context of this game. What a time that would have been to score a second goal there for JEONBUK. But what a chance this could be, because through goes Holt. He's round his man. The angle's tight, he hits the post. Oh, what drama as we come towards half-time.
Well, it almost seemed to happen in slow motion.
I'm no hero, just a yordle with a hammer.
You were wondering, is he going to come out? Is he going to stay on his line there? And Hulk just pounced on that. A little bit of hesitation in defense from JEONBUK once again.
Well, it's all going on. Chances at either end. So close at either end. And is there to be one more before we get to the break? There's Kim Shin-wook, and that's a tough header to execute. Off balance, and it goes wide, and we draw breath.
Just saying that he was tugged there in that situation.
He took it wide, Hulk. He took it wide, didn't he? And gambled on that.
Give a bit of credit to the goalkeeper, Bum-kyun here. Again, I just wonder if he hesitated a little bit. But what he does well, Bum-kyun, is he doesn't go down too early. He tries his best to force Hulk as wide as he possibly can. Have a look there. Gets enough. You can see that just that little touch there pushes it onto Hulk's right leg, and that closes down the angle a little bit more for Hulk.
There's a little trip there on Bernie Abini. It's a great point you made there. It looked as if Hulk's touch was heavy. Rather, no, it was the goalkeeper got enough on it just to force him wide. Did his job, but even then Hulk did brilliantly to hit that upright.
He certainly did, and JEONBUK were happy just to be able to get that one away.
It's nicely done, work to the right-hand side. Oscar wins it back, though. Time is ticking away. Remember, 2 added, so under 20 seconds to go. But it doesn't take long to score. He's offside, Elkerson. And Hulk had the idea right.
Yeah, it was a nice idea. Again, it just couldn't quite hold his run there, Elkerson, as we come to half-time here.
And a really entertaining 47 minutes of football we've seen. Started in spectacular fashion, remarkable fashion really there with Sun Min opening up the scoring. And then it was just on the 40-minute mark, a goal that got the opposition back into it. And there it was, beautifully headed back from where it came. And that is why, thanks to Wang Shengqiao, we find ourselves with a home support that is in good voice, in good spirits, and of course two teams who will recover for a second half that promises so much. So at the break in Shanghai, it's Shanghai SIPG 1, JEONBUK Hyundai Motors 1.
Yes, the whistle bringing to a close a really entertaining first half at the Shanghai Stadium. A first half we didn't really want to see end, with a number of chances to close out that first 45. We'll take a look at those and the two goals after the break.
Sunday, UFC Fight Night. Matchup live Sunday on Fox Sports. The Championships is always a colourful affair, with luscious green lawns.
Ready, play.
Stars in brilliant white attire.
Roger Federer!
Hitting purple patches.
Back at the top of the game.
To create golden moments.
What a play!
That last forever.
Angelique Kerber. Bravo, Djokovic.
These are the colours of Wimbledon, a tradition of greatness. Live on the Fox Sports Network.
Everyone, Bonnie made a friend in class. I want you to meet Forky. Hi. Hello. Hi. He's a sport. Yeah, I know. Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now. We all have to make sure nothing happens to him.
I am not a toy. I was made for soup, salad, and then the trash.
Freedom! Buzz, we've got to get Forky. Affirmative.
What would he do?
Jump out of a moving vehicle?
Let's go!
Hey, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Bonnie, I'm coming!
On my way, Woody!
To infinity and beyond! Kaboom! I was made to help a child. I don't remember it being this hard.
Woody, everything's gonna be okay.
They might have a chance early on in the piece, and they do! Did it cross the line? Flag is raised, goal given, and what a start this is for JEONBUK. Oscar lifts it in, there's the chance! There's the equaliser, and it came from a mistake, but that doesn't matter to Wang Shengqiao, who's got there on the end of things to level it up in Shanghai.
Yes, half-time at the Shanghai Stadium, a really closely contested first half. Currently, the honours are equal, and in fact, most of these statistics are equal as well. Look at that, 50-50 possession for Shanghai and JEONBUK Hyundai. JEONBUK, of course, opened the scoring very early on, but it did ebb and flow in that first 45 minutes, and towards the end of the first half, at least, both sides having a chance to take the lead. But as it stands, 1-1, and the honours shared, possession shared, and everything else pretty much on that statistics shared as well, from passes to passing accuracy. It's been a highly entertaining first half at the Shanghai Stadium. In a match between the Chinese champions and the Korean champions, we were hoping that there would be goals, there would be high-quality football, and we had both of those in abundance. The scoring got started very early on indeed, and the opening goal went to the away side in only the first minute of play. Let's take a look at that one, and it was an assist from Lim Sun-young. It was outside of the boot, outside of the boot, and a fantastically well-taken goal there by Moon Seon-min there, John.
Yeah, beautiful delivery over the top of the SIPG back line. Subtle finish with the disguise on the pass over the top was absolutely fantastic. It's on the half volley, really, the little pop over the top. Just waited, and there's no skip on the surface, so he managed to stay up with the ball, and he just lifted it round the goalkeeper. Completely takes the back line out there. You've got to have runners ahead of the man on the ball, and there's so much quality on this pitch. The man on the ball will always find you.
Yeah, perhaps the SIPG defence should have done a bit better in picking their man up, do you think, Chevy?
Well, they play with a back three, and there's always a big problem. I think they just got caught a little bit too high. You must know when to retreat. I think they could have done well in that situation because there's no pressure on the ball in midfield. They could have done well to have been defending the box rather than being, in my opinion, no man's land.
Yeah, a few minutes later, and JEONBUK had the chance to double their lead, but ultimately weren't able to. And it was Shanghai that would come back into the game with a few minutes to go before the half-time whistle. And it was a very nicely taken header. Let's take a look at that one. And it was Wang Shen-chao who got his head to the end of the ball. And it wasn't an easy header to take this one by any means, John.
No, it wasn't. And it was just because SIPG had just been hammering on the door for the last 3 minutes leading up to this one. They just put JEONBUK under a whole heap of pressure. JEONBUK were just defending quite stoutly on the edge of their 18-yard box. But in the end, they just crumbled. They really did. Too much pressure, too much quality. Oscar's been fantastic. HUK is just teetering there. He's ready to explode in the second half.
Yeah, so that goal was only one of their 2 attempts on target, in fact, if we take a look at these statistics from the first half, Chevy. Perhaps for the home side, for the Chinese champions, we expected a little bit more going forward?
Well, it was that early goal, and then just for me, didn't allow them time to settle into the game. And suddenly they realized we're 1 goal down. We've got to, play much faster. We've got to raise the tempo, and we're not ready for it yet.
Những diễn biến trên sân thật sự hấp dẫn phải không nào? Và nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang phân vân suy nghĩ rằng khi tham gia fp88vn.com sẽ được gì thì đừng vội lo lắng, bởi fp88vn.com hiện đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên đến 2 triệu đồng dành cho thành viên mới, hợp pháp và an toàn. Hãy truy cập ngay fp88vn.com để nhận được ưu đãi.
That's got to go over the goalkeeper. Has to go over the goalkeeper. He'd be disappointed. The form he's in right now, he'd be disappointed with that. Oscar's been absolutely fantastic. He's been everywhere. The energy levels, the fitness levels, the quality on the ball. He has been, I think, he has been the standout player on the continent over the last couple of months.
Yeah, of course, Oscar scored that hat-trick in the last group stage match. He was everywhere in that. Perhaps his role has now changed a little bit now that HUK's back in the side. Not as effective, would you say, Chevy?
Well, I mean, he hasn't got the freedom to roam across the front line, for sure. He's, he's stuck wide on the left, either wide left or inside left. So pretty much restricted space for him to work. To work in, and that's not what he likes. I like him in that forward position, free, just go wherever you want. Number 8, number 10, at times number 9, rather than being a 7 or an 11.
Yes, the second half at the Shanghai Stadium soon to come. We're certainly looking forward to that. But let's not forget we have had a couple of matches that have already taken place tonight across Asia. And in the AFC Champions League round of 16, the other match saw Urawa Reds host Ulsan Hyundai, and it was Urawa that would open the scoring with a nice header there by Kenyu, the assist provided by Aoki. That was in the 37th minute. Almost falling over during the celebrations. A few minutes later, though, Ulsan would get the equaliser. It was Kenyu with the ball in, and a well-taken header by Min-kyu, the goalkeeper, unable to do anything there, as it was 1-1 heading into half-time. Heading into the second half, deep into the second half, in fact, with just 10 minutes left on the timesheet, and Ulsan would get their second goal. how important could that be? The goal scored by Ilsu, and they will take a 2-goal advantage. Well, sorry, 2 away goals into the second leg, and that could be huge, couldn't it, John?
Massive. What a result. What a result that was for the Korean outfit. And there was a little bit of needle there, and that's going to go into the second leg, of course. Absolutely fantastic. What a result that was, Shebi. We actually pinned home side to take this one, didn't we?
Yes, and Ulsan, have based their group stage matches on strong, solid defending, so big advantage.
Now, we are the home of Asian football, but we are also the home of the Bundesliga. And just to bring you some breaking news, it has just broken, in fact, on Bayern Munich's Twitter page that Mats Hummels, their centre-back, is joining Borussia Dortmund. What do you make on that, Joe?
Not surprised, to be honest with you. Not getting enough minutes from him. Nicolas Schüller is the future of the Bayern Munich backline. I won't be surprised if Boateng joins him as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Boateng goes to another Bundesliga club. Definitely to leave Bayern Munich with Mats Hummels.
Well, they should rephrase that, rejoin Borussia Dortmund, because that's where he came from.
Absolutely. And we look forward to seeing Mats Hummels back in the black and yellow and live on the Fox Sports Network once the Bundesliga season gets back underway in a couple of months' time. For now, though, we are focusing our attention on Asian football and the second half between Shanghai SIPG and JEONBUK Hyundai. It's the AFC Champions League round of 16 first leg, and it's all to play for in the second half.
It takes more than skills to set a Guinness World Record.
See those mountains? We are going up.
We're gonna need faster cards.
Will these rides stand a chance after major modifications? Find out in Record Rides, brand new series on Fox Sports 3.
I heard he's a savior. I heard he's a mutant. He's a god. Power else.
I help people open their minds.
Is this a cult?
Tick-tock and birdie.
I'm a good person.
You end the world. Why do you need a time traveler?
It's about saving lives, starting with mine.
How do you surprise someone who can go back in time and warn himself?
The final season of Legion premieres Tuesday at 9:50 p.m. on Fox.
By Crawford gives the title to Perry. 6-3, 6-love, 7.
The men who first set foot upon the summit of Everest have returned.
Althea Gibson does it. What an achievement. 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting in such vivid colours now means Wimbledon can be seen in all its glory.
The cup has gone back to the champion of champions.
The future of the Berlin Wall is now up in the air.
Does he see some Wimbledon moments?
700 miles per hour.
Sampras is the new champion.
Here as the world celebrates the millennium. Spectacular.
Roger Federer really is the glory.
It's a new era for medicine. Scientists.
The Mars rover has landed.
Unbelievable.
Another golden moment from Wimbledon.
We're back at the Shanghai Stadium, where there is much to look forward to in the second half between the champions of China and Korea. Shanghai SIPG 1, JEONBUK Hyundai Motors 1. And that only really begins to tell you the story of a really dramatic first half, bookended by goals. The first coming inside the first minute for the visitors, and it was Moon Seung-min with that one. Before, after, 1 or 2 chances, half chances, and certainly opportunities that the likes of Elkerson and HUK and Oscar would be expected to take. It was actually Wang Shunchao who got Shanghai SIPG back level with a header in the 39th minute. So there we are, 2 goals so many chances and half chances throughout, and SHANGHAI is alongside me for this one. It really augurs well for a second half that might see the coaches impact this. Certainly, you'd imagine Vitor Pereira of Shanghai has looked at this and said we've got to be better at stopping them in wide areas.
Absolutely. They would have looked at it in the first half and thought, you know, there's a big problem here with the amount of space Kim Jin-soo and Lee Yong actually have to make passes in behind, to play crosses from the deeper positions. And one of the issues there is Oscar is playing out in a wider left position in attack, and when they do lose the ball, he's not going to be transitioning then back into defensive shape. So a lot of responsibility comes down to Chai Hui Kang and Odin Akhmedov with the lateral movement, covering spaces in those wider areas. It's always very difficult to go out there into those areas. And Wang Shen-Chao is a little bit reluctant at the moment as well to push forward from a right wing back position, because if you look at it in terms of the formations, in terms of the shape, what's happening now is Moon Seon-min is actually playing in closer towards Kim Shin-wook in a more central position. He's spinning himself up against Wei Tsen, and so Wang Shen-Chao technically should be actually pushing forward up against Kim Jin-soo, but he's a little bit reluctant to do that at the moment because I think he's worried about leaving space in behind for Moon Seon-min to exploit.
Yeah, expertly analysed, and of course we've also seen some very early balls played by JEONBUK, which has added to that sense of insecurity. So away we go again then. Referee Nawaf gets us underway, and this has been a spectacle that's really lived up to the billing. Not always the case in the first legs of these knockout rounds affairs, but there have been chances aplenty. And there's an early touch of the ball for the Shanghai SIPG keeper, and Yan Zhongling and company bowling it out. He's got his customary now three-man defence in front of him. Wei Jun and HUK either side, He Guan in the middle. Chai, as you say, entrusted with Akhmedov of doing the more defensive work in those central areas. Yu Hai over on the left, and Wang Shen-Chao to the right. And then, of course, the famous trio, the attacking trident of Oscar, Hulk and Elkerson in front of them. JEONBUK pretty much lining up as we might have expected. The major threat, obviously, the target man, the number 9, Kim Shin-wook, who's seen plenty of the ball. But it's been the work we've seen from the likes of Seung Min and Bernie Abini on either side that's really caught the eye in this match so far.
I think we saw there were a few patterns from JEONBUK in the attacking phases when they did have possession of the ball. You know, they could knock it long into Kim Shin-wook for the knockdowns. They could look for those big diagonal switches into Moon Seon-min.
There's an early header, and it's an opportunity. Elkerson it is. Does he take it on himself? He does, of course, but just spun away off that left boot and didn't trouble the keeper.
Again, it just gets in behind that JEONBUK defense a little bit too easily. Look at the space that he's in there, just in between Lee Yong and Hong Jong-ho. Good position that he takes up so that if the ball comes back, he's got a little bit of space to run into.
It was a beautifully weighted header from Oscar to play him in. It was just that he couldn't master that left-footed finish. Meanwhile, at the other end, unsurprisingly, Shin-wook wins a header. And there's a little knock in the face. Just see that the arm was raised by Hulk there, intentionally or otherwise, but one way or another, that's led to some discomfort for Hong Jong-ho.
The referee saying that it's going to get booked here because there was an arm out to Hong Jong-ho.
And he made his mind up early, the referee. Then let's just have a little look.
I don't think he actually throws an arm out there, Hulk. I think he's perfectly entitled to put his arm out there just to try and protect the ball. I think it's Hong Jong-ho that actually runs into Hulk's arm there.
Yeah, and that's probably the point he's making. He didn't throw it. He led with it, it must be said. There was arm that it was up there, but it wasn't the point of the elbow. It was an arm that was just there.
We see that from lots of strikers, really, when they want to try and protect the ball that's coming, you know, aerially towards you. And just get your arms out just to try and make your body that little bit bigger, just to try and create a little bit of distance. I mean, it was a foul, it was a free kick, sure, but I think yellow card perhaps a little bit harsh.
But it's done now, and on we go, and it's JEONBUK in possession down the left-hand side. As they whip a ball in, Bernie Abini, he came away from his man there and looked as if he was caught in two minds as to what to do with it. That's solid defending once again from JEONBUK there. Read it well, got the challenge in.
All the talk of Oscar and HUK and Elkersen, it was the two wing-backs of Shanghai SIPG that combined to get them the equalizer there. High with the assist, and then Shen Zhao with the clever header. I thought, he just took the sting out of that cross and just guided it past Bum Kyun.
Well, it speaks really volumes about the quality on show, doesn't it? These are elite clubs in this eastern part of this Premier AFC competition. And that's why we're seeing such entertainment on the pitch. Here's Elkersen. For so long now, a tried and trusted goal scorer in Chinese football. And this is a big week, of course, remember, for Shanghai SIPG. Two massive encounters for them. The one that didn't go their way was the Friday defeat to Guangzhou in the Chinese Super League. And here comes a card once again, Russia.
Yeah, Hong Jong-ho just, having a little bit too much to say to the referee there. And he was really frustrated because it actually did come off Elkersen. Should have been a goal kick. Referee decided to give a corner. And Elkersen didn't bother to appeal there.
But he knows. He's opened his mouth and talked his way into a book. Here comes something that's comfortably dealt with in the end by Bum Kyun, who takes his time, waves everyone away. And let's again put this game into context. Let's remind ourselves here, and I was talking about that defeat to Guangzhou for Shanghai, and when they went behind so early in this match here, they must have worried that what was turning into another powerful campaign, because it was preceded by a 15-game unbeaten run, might just go off the rails. Well, as it is, they've worked their way back into form, back into this match. It'll be fascinating now to see what their approach is this second half.
I think it's credit to them that didn't panic. SIPG, yes, they started slowly. It took them some time to get going, but when they eventually did, you could see this getting a little bit more confidence, getting Oscar, HUK a little bit more involved in the game.
Bini goes for the shot from range, always rising. And he seems to be popping up unmarked all across the edge of that box. He's not just working down the right-hand side.
Well, there's that mobility of Bernie Bini and Moon Seon-min as well. They're starting out right-hand side, left-hand side of that front three, but they're given that license to roam into central positions just to try and overload Shanghai SIPG in the middle there. And they do need that movement from those wider players, from Seon-min, from Bernie Bini, because Kim Shin-wook's just going to hold his position centrally. He's going to be able to hold onto the ball, drag central defenders out with him, and then creates that space for Seon-min and Bernie Bini to then run into or to occupy.
Scrappy little passage of play, but the home captain's on the ball. Can't make anything happen from the throw-in. And away they come once again through the irrepressible figure of Seon-min. This time, though, he is repressed, and SIPG are unable to do anything meaningful with the ball. Well, that's nicely done. Twice with the outside of the boot. Does he get it back? Yes, he does. It's Elkersen running in on goal. He's got a lot of work to do, though. Oh, he might just have another bite at this one. He's leaned in and somehow delivered a ball across the box.
Well, I'm glad the referee let that one go there. I thought he was going to blow for a foul on Min Hyuk. I think that's just good, strong centre forward.
Here comes another card, Russia. Here comes another card, and this was a really silly, ill-disciplined, cynical foul. This one just pulled his man back, and understandably, he's going to get that. That was Wadeson getting that one.
Well, here's that quick ball. Again, he had to play that. That pass was on into Elkersen. Min Hyuk does enough to cover. He wants his goalkeeper to be quick off his line. That's just good, strong centre forward play from Elkersen there. A bit too much. This is that drag back from Wadeson. There's always going to be a yellow card there. He knew he got caught out of position. Got turned too easily by Seon-min.
Suddenly, at the start of this half, we've had a flurry of yellow cards. 3 of them already. There goes Bernie Bini again, just leaning in, but his defender, whoops, was all over him there. And in the end, he kind of made it easy for that decision there. HUK it was, who just couldn't stop him.
This can be really frustrating in those situations. If you're HUK's teammate, for example, you see that he's done the job really well. He's pushed his attacker into a wider position. There's nowhere really for Ibini to go. And then you give away a silly free kick like that. And it puts your side under pressure here. The big boys coming forward. Hong Jong-ho, Min Hyuk, Kim Shin-wook at the back post there.
So it's going to be the left-footed in-swinger, you would imagine, here. And that's exactly it. Keeper comes, keeper punches, two-fisted, but it's not cleared yet, and that's a clever effort. And again, it was the goal scorer, Seon-min, who holds his head, and you can see what he was trying, going for that top corner.
He's looking to bend it around. Defense there into the top corner. It's Kim Jin-soo. Perhaps was a little bit too much elevation on that. Junling get enough distance on his punch. It's a nice idea from Seon-min. Just opens up for him. Look at the technique. He just opens his body up just to hit it with the inside of his foot there. They do look like they're preparing a change, Shanghai SIPG. Wouldn't surprise me if you actually see a defensive change here from SIPG if it's Wei Chen that actually comes off, because I think he's had a difficult night.
Yeah, and of course they've got to be concerned about that yellow card as well. At the moment they've got to cope with this attack because there's a man over, and had that one found its way to the right, then it would have been Lee Yong in there. Oh, Oscar's under pressure, and the crowd says foul, the referee says not so. Well, that may be a foul. That's really hurt the back of Buniabini's head, that one.
I thought that should have been a free kick there. He's eventually decided to stop play for the head injury.
Yeah, both players come out of that one with sore heads, I'm afraid. Well, coach and captain having a word, and are we going to see a double change here, Roshan? Very much looks as if at least we're seeing one.
I think you just see Yu-hai there. I thought he was a little bit late to that one, and just going through the back of Ibini. I was just going to say that I picked out Wei Chen perhaps coming off because he's had difficulties really dealing with Seon-min's movement down that side of the pitch, and picked up a yellow card as well. Zhang Wei might perhaps be coming on for him, and then they'll just reshape it, restructure it in defense a little bit. But it's on hold now because
this might change things, yeah. As you can see, there's presumably a cut. There's a bandage going on. Yeah, you can see a bit of blood. And as you can see now, this is leading to problems. Again, the conversation continues. I know you said that he might materially affect things, but he maybe just wants somebody to moan to. But, well, we know for sure that you're absolutely right. Zhang Wei is one of the players who's going to be coming on.
Yeah, and if it is Yu-hai that has to come off, then of course Zhang Wei can just come in and be like for like. He'll just play in that left wing-back position. But I think the plan was to initially, I think, take off Wei Chen. But let's see what happens here.
Well, there's the tactical discussion. That's unfortunate on Buniabini, who's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's actually flicked the ball on and got a nasty bang for his trouble. Well, the crowd are doing their best to encourage the player, who's now sporting a bandage on his head, but it'll be interesting to see, just monitoring him over the next couple of moments.
Yep.
Yeah. Wei Chen it is. He called it. So the man on the yellow card makes way. They're going to persist with Yu-hai for the time being.
Yeah, so I think what might happen here is Yu-hai will just go into that back three alongside HUK and He-guan. Zhang Wei might play at left wing back. But let's see what happens with this change here.
So young Shijuan it is coming on. And there's the change, and it's the number 6, it's the midfielder Chai Hui-kang who's making way.
Actually, this is a change that makes sense as well, because Hui-kang has, I don't think we've really mentioned him much in that first half, or in this 58 minutes or so. Xu Yan perhaps will just give them a little bit more mobility in central midfield. Fresher legs coming on.
And after all that, let's not forget that we had a stoppage in play that was a foul. It looks like he's okay to continue. And there it is, finally curled in. That's a dangerous looking ball. Scrum of players. Oh no! And he's got it all wrong, the captain there. He acknowledges as much, and that could have ended up very, very embarrassingly for HUK.
Listen, there's a time and place for all that. In the other penalty area, perhaps, not there when you're trying to make a clearance in that situation. And the thing is, he doesn't even need to do that at all. Thankfully for him and his side. Goes out for a corner here, although they still could be punished.
So in it comes, right-footed, presumably deep. Kim's pulled away on the far post, but it never gets anywhere near him. And that's an interesting little foot race there, and it looks like it's a foul, and it might just be a card again here. Yeah, he knew what was coming. Lost the race, and as a result committed the foul. And yet another yellow card, this time Kim Jin-soo.
Yeah, you can just see him grabbing a hold of his jersey there. He knew exactly what he was doing, Kim Jin-soo. There was a counter-attack on. Substitute Yang Shu-yen coming on and looking to make an immediate impact.
Well, it's fascinating the way this second half has been punctuated by stoppages, by yellow cards, and a lot of tension. It's not flowed quite the way the first half did. It's still compelling though.
Let's look to try and get Shu-yen on the ball to move it a little bit quicker through midfield.
Oh, and again, they had to be strong defensively, and were.
That's another substitute there. Let's come on the number 2 Zhang Wei to make that diagonal run in behind JEONBUK's defense.
And another little tussle in midfield leads to another stoppage. And a bit of a word here for young Xu-wan. It was clumsy more than anything.
Yeah,
oh, knee in the back.
Knee into the back of Son Jun-ho there. Xu-yen.
Oh, and that's a little slip, and it's a chance for Elkerson, who's away, but he's wide right. What's he got in terms of options? HUK steaming into the area. Oscar not far behind. Can he clip a ball up? He does. He serves it up. And in the end, a crucial header won, and then HUK a little bit zealous. Or rather, Elkerson coming in on the back there. Well, that needed to be dealt with, and Hong Jong-ho stepped up when it mattered most.
There's been a little bit stop-start this second half. Here and there, just breaking up the momentum, but on that occasion, Shanghai SIPG, an opportunity with space opening up for Elkerson down his right-hand side. He's got his head up there. Jong-ho does well to get it away from the danger zone.
Not the best challenge, to be honest with you, that one, Roshan, but this time the referee doesn't reach for the book. But there's a word being had with a player who has just absolutely flattened an opponent.
Just went through the back of Sun Yong there.
Who is feeling that. The only consolation would be that it wasn't HUK after all. It was just Elkerson coming through the back of you there. Kim wins the header. Said that before. There was a foot raised there, but nothing given. And that breaks to HUK, and he's got Elkerson running to the right. And they look so dangerous. You always get the sense that one of these long balls might just find its way through, might just lead to something. Kim Shin-wook, nice little tidy play, sets it up to the left-hand side. Haven't seen quite as much of a threat from that channel as we saw in the first half. Bernie Abini, nicely done. Kim once again. Shin-wook's link-up play tidy. He wants to get on the end of this one. Can he get there? Oh, and that was risky. Here's an attempt with the right foot this time. Maybe not the strongest, it has to be said.
I think he had to take that one quickly, Seon Min. Comes to him here, and he just wants to take it quickly, catch that defense and the goalkeeper off guard. He sees that space open up at the near post. Perhaps could have kept his composure, taken a first touch.
Panicky defending. It was Yuhai there who did neither one thing nor the other, and he really needed to put his foot through that one and get some clearance on it.
Well, the hope here is that from medical perspective, they've done their checks with that head injury, and they've not just thrown him back onto the pitch.
Well, he's on the ball right now. That's tidy and composed enough, but he's going to have a lot of work to do in that position. in a defence that's been stretched all night long, really, by JEONBUK.
Again, it was Kim Shin-wook just dropping off the link-up, play there, taking it down initially. And then on the edge of the area, Elkerson breaks free here.
He just pickpocketed there, his man, and away he goes. He's coming into this game increasingly as Elkerson. Was he fouled there? No. Referee deemed that just shoulder-to-shoulder contact. That's a little bit short, and away they go once again. Akhmedov, who's been quiet so far in this period. Oh, that's nicely done. Links it up out to the left-hand side. Maybe Zhang Wei could have taken a bit of time on that. It's a neat ball, but even Oscar's not going to get on the end of that one. You sense this game is just ebbing and flowing, and the balance of it has changed somewhat, hasn't it?
You're going to use those exact words. It's ebbed and flowed a little bit in the second half. It's been a bit of a strange one, I think. You know, after that half-time break, it's been a bit scrappy at times. We haven't really seen much in terms of patterns of play in the second half.
Nothing is clear-cut, particularly what we saw from JEONBUK in the first half. It's been more fragmented this period. So Bani again, his danger though. Kim Shin-wook just works it out to the left-hand side. Tidy feet once again from Seung-min, still in possession. Now they have a chance to deliver a bit of quality. Oh, and he got across his man, did Bani, but couldn't control the shot.
He just got clattered by Yu-hai there, and for a moment I was actually thinking the referee might perhaps think about giving a penalty in that situation.
Clumsy, wasn't it?
It's a late challenge.
It was clumsy, got across his man, looked to work the shot, and he's taken a couple of nasty bangs in this half already, Bani, but he just rather gingerly gets back to his feet, gets on with it. You're right, it's almost as if a sort of collective uncertainty is set in this second half. People are making rash challenges, and that's been taken quickly. Will it catch SIPG out? Well, not just yet. Elkerson not convincing with a clearance. Back it comes again.
I think what we've seen as well is just a drop-off in the quality of the overall play here from both these sides.
But at times like this, sometimes this is where the goals come from. Little bits of scrappy play. We've seen that already in this match. And in the end, that's a speculative ball that very nearly gave Oscar a chance to work with it.
It's unfortunate there, Oscar just falling over, losing his balance on that occasion.
Và như vậy là trước khi đến với những diễn biến gay cấn của hiệp thi đấu thứ hai, chúng ta hãy cùng dành một ít phút quảng cáo cho nhà tài trợ fp88vn.com. Và nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay không biết sẽ đặt cược cho đội bóng của chúng ta ở đâu, thì hãy truy cập fp88vn.com. Đây là một trong những nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu và đang đứng top tại diễn đàn đặt cược châu Á SHANGHAI. Các bạn có thể yên tâm đặt cược tại đây. Hãy truy cập ngay fp88vn.com và đừng bỏ lỡ cơ hội.
Prior to that, just a neat little passage of play through midfield, something we saw in the first half that we didn't see really in this half, well, the first 20 minutes or so.
The thing for JEONBUK here is that I think they're actually missing a couple of key attacking players.
Needs to be careful here, HUK.
He's already picked up a caution, hasn't he? Just needs to keep his mouth shut. Just slips a little bit on that surface again, and it is a foul. JEONBUK are missing Ricardo Lopez, who's out sick. Seung-gi as well, just got injured in training. So those two players would have added a bit more quality to JEONBUK's attack. They certainly would have been good options to bring on. They had been able to make the squad.
Would have been even more of a handful, really, for this Shanghai SIPG defence, which has struggled at times to cope, but they're battling manfully right now. They've got themselves back into this game. Now they've got another cross to deal with, and well, nothing wrong with Yu-hai's work there. Might be a bit uncomfortable with the bandage, but he got the job done.
It's good play by Lee Yong, just to link up with Bernie Ibini.
Oh, that's nicely done from Ibini there. And, oh, that's careful. A touch in the box, but they get away with it there. And it looks as if the referee's just seen something that he needs to deal with. It might be something to do with Yu-hai. Let's have a little look. Oh, there was a ball on the pitch, I think.
I think you're just saying to Yu-hai, go get your bandage sorted out.
Yeah, that header has just caused trouble with bleeding once again for Yu-hai, and he's going to have to get that fixed up. So temporarily then, it looks as if the home side are going to have to make do without his services. And it's really up to the medical staff now to decide how long this can continue. And they're going to patch it up and make it serviceable. Can't have blood flowing from him. Expertly done by HUK onto Elkerson right now. Now to Oscar. And he curls them all in, looking for the on-rushing HUK, and Elkerson can't get there either. And just another flash of the danger that trio can create.
It was a crucial touch on that second ball there from Jeonbuk. So Elkerson was just ready to get on the end of that ball. It dropped off onto the edge of the penalty box.
It's notable that Akhmedov's playing in a deeper, more restrained role in this half. Obviously there was just too much space in the first as he pushed forward more on the right-hand side, but he's shown more discipline.
Well, I think ever since they scored that equalizer, I think they've decided that, you know, we're back on level terms at least. You know, 90, I know they've still got that away goal to think about. Perhaps taking fewer risks in central midfield there. They just dropped him off. What we had in that first half was Choi Hui-kang pretty much holding the midfield on his own. Kind of at times joining Oscar. And SIPG did have the ball.
And it looked as if it was a game that might even get away from them, even a tie that would get away from them in the first half at times. But they weathered the storm and tactically have managed to really stem the flow. But here's the danger man once again. Good feet to Kim, and no composure, no control really with the shot, and he knows he's better than that. But once again, running in behind there, it was Seon-min.
Again, he just takes advantage of the space that's created for him. Makes that movement from the left-hand side out onto the right here. You've got Shin-wook and Ebini. He's just dropped off in the deeper positions. It's a terrible shot in the end from Kim Shin-wook. Gets that one completely wrong, and Vito Pereira's deciding to have a go.
Only thing is, he picks the fourth official. Against your advice, Roshan.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a tetchy half. It has, for one reason or another. It's been bad-tempered. It's been niggly. The referee, through no fault of his own, has had to stop the game so often. And here we are again with another injury concern.
Well, absolutely right. You said it spot on there. I mean, there's been no flow to this game in the second half. It's been stop-start. You've got another injury here.
Guan it is who's down. But he's up again, and that stretcher looks like it's not needed. So really, it's just another rather frustrating stoppage, more than anything more serious.
Well, they've got one more change that they can make here, Shanghai SIPG. But when you look at the bench there, they've got midfielders, they've got forwards, so they will, if they are forced into a change, there's going to have to be some restructuring done. They're going to have to be players playing in positions that they perhaps might not be quite comfortable with.
Yeah, this has taken a lot out of them, this game, hasn't it? They've been stretched, there are injuries. Certainly that substitution of Chai looked as if he was just run off his legs. He just couldn't cope any longer. Had to put so much work in that match.
Had to cover a lot of ground in that first half, Chai Hui-kang, and I think we didn't really see him on the ball. We didn't really see him moving it quickly through central midfield. Seen a lot more involvement in possession from the number 20, Yang Shu-yen.
Some gaps opening up here, and they could exploit these ones. As there's Kim Shin-wook. Can't really manufacture anything this time. Here comes Shanghai SIPG. Oh, lovely work. Somehow Oscar managed to keep it. Somehow he keeps his footing. Now there's danger here. He cuts across to the right. Elkerson. Can they keep this one alive? It's clipped in. And then struck from range, but with no real authority. And quite frankly, no real belief there from Yang Shu-wan, the substitute. Unable to come up with the quality required.
Well, Jeonbuk did well enough defensively there just to delay that attacking move, get players back into defensive shape, get the numbers back. Young puts in a good challenge. It's a difficult one, going to be a difficult one to hit for Yang Shu-yen. Keep that one under control.
Akhmedov just runs straight into his man Kim there, but they play on. He thought about an early shot, might be a later shot, and another scooped effort there from Moon Seung-min, who again holds his head thinking I might have done better.
Well, I love how he just gets past the challenge initially with that first touch. The first touch just to take it past the challenge, and then he was trying to again Lob it over the goalkeeper into the far post.
Well, it looks as if it might well be time for a change for JEONBUK very shortly. Activity on their bench.
Therefore, the Han Seung-gyu perhaps might be being given a chance to come on and try and make an impact here. It did start, if it is Han Seung-gyu, it did start their last match in the league against Incheon.
Well, it's going to fall to Kim, who's going to blast one there. Surely no appeals for anything to do with the handball there, as that was drilled by the number 9.
Let me at him.
Headed straight towards goal as well, or at least going to be on target. Good block from HUK.
And Hulk's body language tells you there he did not enjoy being the Hulk in a sandwich there, but he wins his side. A free kick. Han Seung-gyu, it is. So that is the end of the day for Lim Sun-yong.
Just a bit quiet in that second half. Sun-yong to do more work defensively than did that first half.
And he got forward a lot, hadn't he?
Exactly, I was just going to say, he was responsible for making those runs from midfield in behind SIPG's defensive line.
Here's Akhmedov, here's Oscar with a bit of space to work with, and he clips an early ball in to his captain, who it never sat down, and that's what he's telling his teammates. Just didn't sit for Hulk for the shot.
I think he should have laid it off to Akhmedov, and we've got another injury here. Junho, here he is.
Trust nothing but your strength.
Trying to luck with the referee, I think that, yeah, he gets caught by the forearm, but Akhmedov's, I mean, what, to me, he doesn't do anything wrong in that situation. He just skipped past the challenge of Junho. I think he should have got the return ball from HUK there. And that's what Akhmedov was asking for, because he had space on the edge of the area. HUK was just backing himself, and ball didn't sit down quick enough for him.
Yeah, it was a rare venture upfield there for Ozil Akhmedov. To just check and make sure the teeth are all in place. So, still all square. As it has been all half, as it has been since the 39th minute of this match. Tough to say which way it's going to go. Second half that's really not developed in a very cohesive way. It's been played in fits and starts, but compelling nonetheless because of the sheer quality in terms of attack on show. There's always the prospect that something could happen.
Well, that's actually right. Just the quality that they have, both these sides are on the pitch. Just conjure something up.
Should be the keepers. He was at full stretch there, Jan, and smartly it came back into him, but so far Shanghai SIPG are able to resist. Lee Yong this time carves the ball high into the sky looking for Kim, and this is going to be kept alive by Seung-min. Work it across now. Now the injection of tempo. Seung-min wants to get on the end of that one. Indeed, they all do. And it was Kim Jin-soo had continued his run. They need to be mindful here, don't they, Shanghai SIPG, that they don't concede again. I was just about to ask you, Roshan, at what point JEONBUK say, hey, this is good enough for us, we don't have to be too ambitious, but right now is not the time. Han Seung-gyu it is with this corner, right-footed. Kim and Ibini trying to work some space for one another.
He's just looking to use Ibini as a human shield there, Kim Shin-wook. What he actually did was push his own player, Ibini, into SIPG's defenders there.
They'll be hoping that this one is where they want it, just under that crossbar. Look at them once again. The two green-shirted Koreans pushing one another and presumably saying to the referee, hey, we can do that. Hulk knows what's going on and he's not happy with it. So here we go again. Curled in. and headed away comfortably enough. Comes in once more, and it's HUK who rises and heads that one away. Have to check his bandage once more after that. Any contact with that injured head will draw scrutiny from the referee.
A little bit sore as well as it comes into Kim Jin-wook here.
Bini, can he make anything of it? Did he handle? Well, he stabbed his shot with the right foot, but the Shanghai players quite rightly are saying, hang on, how did he control that? Might have got away with that, you know, Roshan. If that had gone in, that would have been interesting. Here's another change for JEONBUK then. It's the introduction of Lee Dong-guk. And Shin-wook makes way.
Kim Jin-wook's involvement in the game there. Just knocking it down into the path of Bini. Here we go. Strong in the air. Bini, I think, tries to be clever with his finish. You know, he didn't fancy a shot on his left foot there, so tried to use the outside of his right. You can see 4 or 5 SIPG defenders there saying he actually handled the ball.
I think they might have had a point. As it was, it's a moot point, as the shot was harmless. Had that one gone in, and that would have taken a little bit of scrutiny. 10 minutes remain in Shanghai. All square between Shanghai SIPG and JEONBUK. And it's the visitors who are making much of the running at the moment in this game. Concerted spell of pressure. And there is a man who's had to do that time and time again, despite that injured head. HUK with the clearing header. Lee Yong, Bini, will he take them all on? And he's just scooped a ball in there. Remember, Lee's now the target. No Kim on the pitch, and 2 players go for the same ball there. Oh, that's excellent work there. That was the sterling work there in midfield of Yang Shu-Kwan, who's been a good worker since he came on. He's done just what you want out of a second-half substitute. He's been tireless. He's looked to get on the ball. He's looked to drag players out of position when he can.
Exactly. It's been a good change to make. We touched on how Chai Hei-kang was a little bit quiet and getting dragged around and just didn't quite have the legs in midfield. Shu Yen has come on and he's injected that pace and intensity into the defensive side of the game.
Và để tạm gác lại những giây phút căng thẳng ở trong trận thi đấu này, chúng tôi xin được trân trọng giới thiệu đến các bạn fp88vn.com là trang nhà cái đến từ châu Âu, có kèo ăn cao nhất hiện nay và đang được đông đảo anh em hâm mộ bóng đá tại Việt Nam lựa chọn để tham gia. fp88vn.com đảm bảo uy tín cho anh em nạp và rút tiền trực tiếp qua thẻ ngân hàng chỉ trong vòng 5 đến 10 phút mà thôi. Hãy nhanh tay tham dự tại fp88vn.com.
Now Akhmedov, he can make something happen from this position here. Chooses the right ball. It's Elkerson out wide. Just HUK in the middle. Other red-shirted players arriving slowly. He's forced a long way back there is the number 9. In fact, they go all the way back.
Oh, well, that's really good pressing from JEONBUK's attackers there. Seon-min applying the pressure as well, forcing the pass back to the goalkeeper, and Junling was just had to make that long clearance, long punt upfield, and possessions back with the green of JEONBUK here.
And that was Lee with a nice angled ball. Took a gamble there on Seon-min getting involved, just linking up with play once again. Oh, that's good from Bini. Look at that arm though, holding his man off. Now they work a little bit of space down the right-hand side. Lee Yong almost past his man. And just curls one in with the left foot. This is a good spell, though, by JEONBUK. Here's an opportunity. Han with the shot, straight at the keeper.
They worked that opportunity really well, didn't they? JEONBUK, they were nice and patient.
Meanwhile, here comes HUK, barreling forward. He's still going. He's going to take some stopping. It's Oscar now. What has he got on the left-hand side? He's driven wide, now into the area, onto that right foot. Now the player arrives. Now the shot comes in, but it's blocked. And it was the willing running once again of Yang Shi-kwan who managed to get up and get on the end of that one, but couldn't find the shot.
That early opportunity for JEONBUK. Create that lovely bit of space for Han Seung-kyu there. Still have a crack at goal. Straight down the middle. Double save for Yan Jun-ling. But it was nice patient play from JEONBUK initially. They were looked at trying to break down that right-hand side. Lee Yong was forced to come back. He switched it over to the left.
A little flurry of drama there, and that's not going to help HUK in terms of his frustration. He thought he'd won a foul. Instead, he's adjudged to have handled the ball, and he'll have to just bite his tongue and get on with things here, really.
Yeah, you can curse all you like, as long as the referee doesn't hear it. Should be all right.
And there is Han once more. He's certainly brought a bit of vitality to this side, buzzing around. Now it comes to Lee Yong. Bernie Abini's going to be second favourite for that ball. Yuhai decides to just hoof it long, and that's, with Oscar around, never a terrible decision to make. Wasn't the best of clearances. Misjudgment there, and it means that Bernie Abini gets a chance to run at Yuhai. Well, that he's more than capable of coping with it. What to do now, though? That might just allow JEONBUK to get in.
It's clever from Abini there. Just make sure he's close enough to disrupt that attempted clearance from Yuhai, suffering with a bit of cramp.
He's suffering in more ways than one, isn't he? That is fair to say. He's had some outing here. And remember, it was that collision with the head of Bernie Abini that led to the blood you're seeing seeping through from that bandage. But they'll be impressed by him, that coaching staff. He's done all that they've asked of him. He's stayed on, and he's really acquitted himself very well, even since that injury, as Yuhai.
Yeah, he started off at left wing back, made that assist, and then now he's had to drop off into central defense there, and he's done a really good job, Yuhai. And again, he's going to have to deal with this bandage.
And this is a concern, really. That was probably what was being discussed on the bench just now. Can they keep affording to getting away with losing a man in a very important position?
They're just going to try and wrap it up, try and close off that wound.
You can be sure that this is going to be coming back down the right-hand side, down Shanghai SIPG's left whenever possible. Oh, and that's a late challenge there. Referee plays an advantage. In fact, he's no longer playing an advantage, and he's come across to deal with this situation. The coaching staff absolutely furious there from JEONBUK.
It did look like a painful one. Lee Yong just trying to hook the ball away. There you go. Helkesen goes into him there in the ankles.
It looks like maybe a knee on knee. Something was just a bit clumsy, a bit messy. Two players down.
Yeah, he's feeling the inside of his knee there.
It's been an attritional half, this one, hasn't it, in so many ways. We really have been hitting the ground on a regular basis.
Yeah, it looks like we might have at least 5 minutes of time added on at the end of this second half here, the way things have gone.
Yeah, at least lengthy stoppage for that man, obviously, when he had that bandaging first applied. He's had plenty more. Beginning to look like the mummy right now with the amount. He's got some red tape on there as well, just to try and keep it under control. That's the hardest working man in the stadium at the moment.
Having a bit of a disagreement on how to deal with the Yuhai situation.
All right, all joking aside, are we going to see any late drama? Are we going to see either of these sides come away with this from this first leg with a advantage? Oops. A lapse in concentration as the game nears its end. There goes HUK again. Helkesen trying to make something happen. Oh, and HUK's going in for a 50-50 as always. So again, this somewhat scrappy play, looking to settle down once again.
It's won well in the air by Min Hyuk.
Yeah, and we must remind ourselves about the quality of the players on show at both ends of the pitch. Some strong defenders. We've seen one or two mistakes, a couple of slips, particularly in the first half, but generally speaking, it's been hard to find a way through here. Bernie Abini plays in the ever-willing Lee Yong, who's been running all night long.
Yeah, you're quite right to mention the quality, and JEONBUK playing with just that one foreign signing in Abini.
And that's just a speculative ball in for Abini, who fell over. And Oscar finds himself very, very deep, and with him playing in this position here, even with quite a bit of time added on, you wonder whether these sides are at some point going to settle for what they've got. Clearly, this result would be far more favourable for JEONBUK, but how much would Shanghai really be that troubled if they came away not having lost this now after that shocking start? Well, he's never going to give it up. Here goes HUK. One tries to stop him, another manages.
Hyung Min has done a fantastic job in that holding midfield role. He's given his central defenders lots of cover when they've needed it. He's always been there. He's that extra man in defense at times. Plenty of experience, two-time Champions League winner.
Yeah, they've looked solid, as they always do, JEONBUK. And there's Han opening things up. There's a player over down the right, but Bernie Abini takes his time on the ball. 5 minutes, there's the answer. You are absolutely right. 5 minutes of time added on it is. And are we going to see something definitive in these 5 minutes? Sean Min trying to make something work down the left again. And here he is once more. Can he turn in the area? Can he shoot in the area? Well, it looks as if it's a layoff, and they just about keep the ball alive. Su's ball in, and Bernie Abini making a nuisance of himself and doing so illegally there, just shoving his man to the ground. They've lost a bit, haven't they, obviously, with the change. I mean, Lee's on the pitch, yes, but Kim was always a problem, always a target, always a handful. Now, here comes Akhmedov, nicely done, excellently done, and it's a run in at goal, and it's a chance for glory, and it's just over the bar. Oh, Jung Wei it was with the run. Elkerson, who was challenged well, and he says it had to come off the defender. It had to.
I couldn't miss from there. Elkerson screaming. Look, it's a lovely play by Akhmedov, and how about that pass? And I thought JEONBUK were in trouble here. Comes off the defender initially. There's a bit of a deflection from Hyung Min as he comes sliding in, I think. It's off Elkerson. He's just stretching as he tries to finish that one, John.
What a chance. What a chance that was.
That was the opportunity for SIPG. Get their second goal there.
It came from a lovely piece of play by Akhmedov, who anticipated, who found some space, played a ball, and suddenly it was Jung Wei away, and, well, he didn't do too much wrong.
That was a good ball. I mean, that's what he needed to do.
Meanwhile, at the other end, here's trouble. Oh, and that might not have been the right ball. This time, Seong Min scooped it with the right foot, and that's run all the way out of play. Yeah, he knows it. He knows that maybe that wasn't the option.
Nice. All right foot, isn't he, Seon Min? Again, just there. A little bit reluctant, perhaps, to use his left just to dink it back into the danger zone. But yeah, that was a chance for SIPG. I mean, great work by Akhmedov. And the weight on that pass through into Zhang Wei. He did absolutely the right thing by squaring that ball.
So we've still got 2.5 minutes of this game to go, and it looks as if neither side's prepared to give this one up. Someone's ball in there, and there's no one on the end of it yet. Ooh, and in the end, trying to control the ball that just wouldn't sit down there, unable really to get enough on it.
He could have read it a little bit earlier in that situation. Dong-guk. It was always going to be difficult for him to get an attempt towards goal there, so he was always looking for that knockdown. To the edge of the box, needed a runner from midfield.
And the Shanghai support have sung loud and proud this second half in particular, and they're still exhorting their team onto something. Abini gets a foot in there, that's going nowhere. In the end, it's a sensible approach by Herguan. Elkerson, is he going to get on the end of this? No. And because he doesn't, he has to commit a foul.
If it stays this way, it's a good result for JEONBUK, but I don't think we've ever really got that sense that they're actually settling for 1-1. They look like they're actually trying to go for that second away goal here.
They also look as if maybe they've got another gear, just a suspicion that at home they could have a little bit more to them.
We'll be hoping that they'll be able to get Ricardo Lopez recovered in time for the second leg, perhaps even Seong-hee.
Into the last minute now of the 5 added on. And increasingly it looks now as if it's going to take something remarkable to separate these two sides. Dong-guk trying to chase down every lost cause as well he might. That's neatly done. Bernie Abini now.
And number 4, Hyung-min has been wonderful in central midfield for JEONBUK.
Play goes on, despite the fact that Bernie Abini's down, and that might be a good call because there's room out on the left-hand side here. Albeit with time rapidly running out to create anything. Here's an opportunity, read well by Akhmedov. Has HUK got the pace? Oh, and he very nearly might have got through there. Tired legs even from him at the end of this one, and that is that. And I think I thank SHANGHAI for his expert comments throughout the second half that ebbed and flowed and moved one way or another. Just a quick summation here. Did either side deserve to win it?
In the end, no. I think there was that sense that it was going to edge towards a 1-1 there. JEONBUK, job done for them. They got that away goal. A decent performance away from home. They did try to push at times, but just not really creating any clear-cut opportunities, either of these sides, aside from perhaps SIPG's opportunity towards the end there. They can both be satisfied here.
Roshan, thank you very much indeed. So the two coaches come face to face there. Both sets of supporters, you feel, will be satisfied enough, but maybe it's a case of what might have been, certainly for JEONBUK, gifted that early goal through Seong-min. And then, of course, character shown by Shanghai SIPG as they came back to it through Wang Shengao. So it's finished here in Shanghai in this clash of the giants with the scoreline of SIPG 1, JEONBUK 1.
Many thanks to your commentary team of John Dykes and SHANGHAI there. The final scoreline the same as it was at half-time. Honours shared and a goal apiece for SIPG and JEONBUK. We'll bring you the highlights from that one as well as the two other matches played tonight after the break.
Look at this shot. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Are you ready? You ready? Fight! Bam! That was proper perfection. This man was totally untouchable.